Chapter 1766. The power of this roar was too strong. Monk Demolish and the other two Lightning Tribulation Realm experts were heavily injured, but the dozen or so Transcendence Realm monks who came with them were not so lucky. In just a breath's time, they couldn't even struggle. They were shaken into meat paste and died on the spot. Damn, this kid is so ferocious. In the distance, Taoist Evilwood and the others also saw this scene. All of them were so shocked that their eyeballs almost popped out. To be honest, Xiaoping was only a mid-stage returning Truth Realm cultivator. Even with a supreme talisman, like the immemorial Heavenly Dragon Talisman, he could unleash the power of a Lightning Tribulation Realm expert. But he was still a returning Truth Realm Junior. In terms of magic power, how could he compare to a Lightning Tribulation Realm expert? After a few attacks, this kid would probably be sucked dry by the immemorial Heavenly Dragon Talisman. But they didn't expect this kid to be so ferocious. He suppressed 3 Lightning Tribulation Realm experts and even attacked dozens of times without any signs of magic power exhaustion. It was unbelievable. They all felt that this kid was a monster, definitely a peerless monster. They didn't know how he cultivated. He was just a junior in the returning nature realm, but the density of his magic power was no less than that of a Thunder Calamity Realm cultivator. His magic power was extremely long. Bastard! Seeing all his subordinates die, Monk Demolish's eyes widened. He roared, "You dare to kill my Buddhist disciples? You're courting death. Do you know that you're courting death? You're dead, completely dead. No one will be able to save you. I'll definitely tear you apart and dismember you into 1,000 pieces." He was so angry that he almost died. 3 Buddhist eminent monks working together couldn't suppress a returning Truth Realm Junior. And during the fight, Xiaoping had even killed all his subordinates. They were all Buddhist elites. Losing even one was unbearable. Now they were all dead without a complete corpse. If this matter were to spread, would he still be able to live? How many demons would be afraid of him? 3 eminent monks. Why are you so angry? Xiaoping said indifferently. Death isn't the end, but the beginning. They didn't die, but ascended to paradise and became Buddhas. They obtained the Tao fruit and became Arhats. You should be happy for them. Hi my ass. You're just a Taoist sect disciple. You think you're worthy of talking about Buddhism with me? Are you really that shameless? Monk Demolisher was infuriated. He had always been the one lecturing others. When had he ever been lectured by others? And now, he was actually being lectured by a junior? How preposterous. Monk Demolisher, don't get carried away. The Buddhist Dharma is boundless and has no boundaries. You are the Buddha, I am the Buddha, and everyone in the world is the Buddha. How can it not be discussed? Xiaoping said, you rigidly adhere to the division between Buddhism and Taoism, the division between races, the division between classes, the division between demons and demons. That's why you can't attain the Tao. Buddha once said, lay down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha immediately. However, the most difficult thing in the world is to let go. Letting go is easier said than done. You may have let go of the butcher's knife in your hand, but you haven't let go of the butcher's knife in your heart. How can you become a Buddha like this? Boom! Hearing those words, the bodies of Monk Vanquish and the other 2 shuddered as if they had been struck by a hammer to their heads. A look of enlightenment appeared on their faces, and their bodies came to a halt just like that. Holy F***CK. That despicable kid. His mouth is smeared with oil. To think that even an esteemed monk of the Buddhist sect would be fooled by him. In the distance, Taoist Air Mu and the others were completely dumbfounded. They could not believe their eyes. To think that as esteemed monks of the Buddhist sect, they would actually be struck by a hammer to their heads and look as if they were about to gain enlightenment and become Buddhas. This was something that had never happened before. There had always been a principle of enlightening others by esteemed monks of the Buddhist sect. Since when had there ever been a case where an esteemed monk of the Buddhist sect was enlightened by someone else? This was way too ridiculous. Bloody hell. Monk Demolisher, are you a mother of asterisk king idiot or what? Don't be fooled by that kid. He's just lying to you. Kill him. Kill him right now. When Garen saw this, his face turned green. He He wanted nothing more than to show himself and slap the three of them awake so that they would wake up and not be fooled. After all, if this were to continue, both sides would probably turn from enemies into friends. By then, how were they supposed to reap the benefits? They would only be able to watch helplessly as Xia Ping ran away. Only after a long time did Monk Demolisher and the other two slowly wake up. Their eyes shone with a bright light as they stared fixedly at Xia Ping. Good kid, as expected of a genius who obtained Paragon Sabetuo's legacy. Your Buddhist arts are truly profound. Listening to your words is better than reading books for 10 years. I've truly benefited from your teachings. Lightning Tribulation Realm Monk Yuan Jun stared at Xia Ping. I finally understand why the Paragon didn't choose anyone else and chose you instead. It's not without reason. Lightning Tribulation Realm Monk Juehai took in a deep breath, as though he was trying to calm his heart. Pity, pity, truly a pity. Monk Demolisher let out a long sigh towards the heavens. If you were a disciple of our Buddhist sect, you would definitely be a pillar of our Buddhist sect, a future paragon. We would also become your Tao protectors and get rid of all the factors that could harm you. But you are a Chinquan sect's personal disciple, a disciple of the Tao sect. You are a great enemy of our Buddhist sect. We have to kill you, or it would definitely be a great calamity for our Buddhist sect. Seems like you guys haven't fully comprehended it yet. Xia Ping shook his head and spoke with a look of pity. Cut the crap. Regardless of whether you fully comprehended it or not, you will die here today. Monk Demolisher roared. Let's attack together. Buddhist karmic fire. Refine evil and transform into devils. Immovable fire lotus. Incinerate the world. In an instant, the other two Lightning Tribulation Realm experts acted as well. They spread out in 3 different directions and instantly enveloped Xia Ping. Monk Demolisher and the other two formed seals with their hands and circulated their magic energy. Immediately, strands of golden flames surged out from their bodies, and an immovable Wisdom King Dharma idol appeared behind them. It had 3 heads and 6 arms. Boom! Immediately, these flames covered a radius of 10 million li and came down from the sky, surrounding Xia Ping. The flames burned so intensely that it seemed like everything within this area would be incinerated. Too ruthless. To think that they would activate the Buddhist karmic fire. They want to kill Xia Ping. He's dead. This brat is dead for sure. There's no way he can survive under the Buddhist karmic fire. Seems like there's no need for us to act. These 3 monks will be able to kill this brat. Be careful. Don't touch the karmic fire. Otherwise, not even a saint will be able to save you. In the distance, when Taoist Air Mu saw the golden flames surge out, his body couldn't help but shudder violently. He knew of the Buddhist karmic fire. It was one of the special flames of the heavens and earth. It was also known as the hellish sin fire. As long as a living being had sin or karma on them, they would be incinerated by the Buddhist karmic fire until they were reduced to ashes. In fact, the greater the amount of sin a devil possessed, the more fearful they would be of the Buddhist karmic fire. If they were struck by the Buddhist karmic fire, no matter what methods they used, only death awaited them. When many devils saw the karmic fire appear, their hair stood on end. If they weren't hiding in the dark, they would have long since fled in fright, afraid that the karmic fire would spread and bring disaster to them. Chapter 1767. Benefactor, just go and die obediently. Under the karmic fire of the Buddhist sect, all evil demons and monsters will be reduced to ashes. Under the power of the Buddha, all heretics will be destroyed. Monk Demolish and the other two's faces were ferocious as their killing intent soared. They had unparalleled confidence in the karmic fire of the Buddhist sect. That was because the power of the karmic fire was extremely terrifying. Any living being that had even the slightest bit of sin would be burned to ashes and their souls destroyed, unless the enemy was someone who had no sin on them. However, those people were natural-born saints and were extremely rare. At the very least, they had never seen anyone like that before. Only then would they be immune to the power of the karmic fire of the Buddhist sect. Otherwise, they would only be burned alive. Once the karmic fire appeared, all demons would be destroyed. Even these high monks of the Buddhist sect were extremely wary of the power of karmic fire. If they were not careful, they could end up hurting themselves. Therefore, they had to be extremely careful when using it. Trying to use the karmic fire of the Buddhist sect against me? Truly, the ignorant are fearless. Hearing those words, Xiaoping laughed. He stood where he was and suddenly opened his mouth. Like a whale, he swallowed and created a terrifying power of vortex. The power of devouring formed the eye of storm. Immediately, countless karmic fire of the Buddhist sect in the void surged towards the storm vortex with a rumbling sound. This kid has gone mad. Seeing this, Taoist Air Mu could not help but widen his eyes in disbelief. Not only is he not avoiding the karmic fire of the Buddhist sect, he actually wants to devour it. I've never seen someone who wants to die so badly. Wolf Garen watched with his mouth agape as well. He was even wondering if he was hallucinating. Seems like this kid is dead for sure. We don't even need to do anything. Later on, we just need to ambush Monk Demolish and the others. Bloodsea's two elders shook their heads. The way they looked at Xiaoping was like they were looking at a dead man. The others thought that Xiaoping was dead for sure as well. He would definitely be burned to ashes. Huh, one idiot. To think that he would actually run into the muzzle of the karmic fire. Since you want to die, we'll grant your wish. Monk Demolish and the others were overjoyed. Originally, they were still worried that Xiaoping would use some sort of method to escape the range of the Buddhist karmic fire, so they were constantly on guard. However, they didn't expect that this kid would be so stupid. Not only did he not escape, he even tried to devour the Buddhist karmic fire. They had never seen such a stupid person in their lives. Monk defeating Kill and the other two did not hesitate at all as they channeled their own powers and activated all of the karmic flames of the Buddhist sect. They covered a radius of 3,000 miles and burned furiously, turning the area into a world of flames. Devour. Xiaoping didn't care about what the others were thinking. He could feel his bloodline stirring. To him, this Buddhist karmic fire was like a super tonic. How could he miss it? Boom! In the blink of an eye, he devoured it like a whale, devouring all the Buddhist karmic fire that filled the sky. All of it surged into his stomach, leaving nothing behind. It was completely emptied. In the depths of his body, the sun furnace blazed fiercely, unceasingly refining the Buddhist path karmic fire. The Buddhist path karmic fire tried to struggle, but it was instantly refined by the sun furnace. The impurities were expelled, and only the essence was left. Immediately, countless Buddhist karmic fires were compressed and finally condensed into a flame seed. A swastika symbol seemed to appear within the seed, emitting a golden glow. Vaguely, the silhouettes of many Buddhas appeared inside the golden seed, as if they were chanting sutras to cleanse the sins of countless living beings. It seemed that every time the flames shook, the sins on Xiaoping's body would be purified, cleared, and his karma reduced. Walala, after devouring the Buddhist path karmic fire, he felt that the golden crow of hell bloodline in the depths of his body had also been activated. It received a huge amount of energy replenishment and obtained the opportunity to evolve. The golden crow of hell cells in the depths of his body were awakening frenziedly. 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million. In the end, he had awakened a total of 7 million golden crow of hell cells. By now, Xiaoping had awakened at least 20 million golden crow of hell cells. The blood in his body was dark gold in color, emitting an ancient, noble, and other aura. It wasn't just his blood that had changed. Even his skin and bones seemed to be covered in a layer of faint golden color. Countless golden crow runes were about to appear, condensing into a scripture. Because of the enhancement of the golden crow of hell bloodline, his strength, speed, magic power, and other aspects had all undergone a leap. He had obtained a huge evolution, and his aura was rising steadily. Impossible! Seeing this scene, Monk Yuanjin couldn't help but cry out. He widened his eyes and said, the Buddhist path karmic fire actually couldn't kill him. Instead, it was devoured by him without any damage. That's impossible. What kind of physique does this kid have? Why can't the Buddhist path karmic fire kill him? Not only did he devour the Buddhist path karmic fire, but he also took the power of Buddhist path karmic fire for himself and obtained great benefits. Not only did we not kill him, but we even helped him cultivate and increase his cultivation. Monk Juhai was shocked. He refused to believe that the Buddhist path karmic fire couldn't kill this kid. I don't believe it. I don't believe that this brat is really that amazing. Even if it's true, he has to die today. Kill him. Kill him immediately and tear him into pieces. Monk Vansha shouted angrily. He displayed a Buddhist divine ability and rushed over murderously, wanting to put Xiaoping to death. Even the Buddhist path karmic fire can't kill you. You want to kill me with 2 or 3 rotten potatoes. What a fool's dream. A cold glint flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. He circulated his magic power and injected it into the immemorial heavenly dragon talisman. Rumble. In an instant, the 28 immemorial heavenly dragon talismans trembled. Primordial heavenly dragons roared in the void. They looked lifelike and emitted boundless dragon might. Instantly, a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers was enveloped by the dragon might. The world shook and the stars shone resplendently. The void trembled and a series of explosions rang out in the surroundings like a nuclear explosion. Monk Van Sha, Yuan Jun, and Monk Juhai weren't their match at all. They were like sandbags as they were sent flying by the primordial heavenly dragons, coughing out blood in midair. Huge meteors in the surroundings were reduced to dust. The energy in the universe's vacuum condensed into a corporeal form, turning into an energy tide that spread out in all directions, causing many planets to crack. Damn it, damn it. Kill him. We must kill him. A junior at the Restoration Realm wants to kill us? You must be dreaming. Monk Van Sha, Yuan Jun, and Monk Juhai roared. They were incomparably furious and aggrieved. They tried to break through the blockade of the 28 primordial heavenly dragons, but it was to no avail. The 28 primordial heavenly dragons were one, forming the 28 constellations formation. They sealed the heavens and locked down the earth. There were no openings at all. No matter where they tried to break through, they were blocked. Chapter 1768. In the distance, Lang Galong and the others saw this scene clearly. Their expressions were ugly. They could see the current situation clearly. Monk Demolisher, Yuan Jun, and Juhai were at a disadvantage. They were being beaten back by Xiaoping alone. If they had not taken action, Monk Demolisher, Yuan Jun, and Monk Juhai would have been suppressed by Xiaoping's primordial heavenly dragon talismans and refined to death. Trash. That dog's asterisk T Demolisher is trash. Lang Galong cursed. It's hard to live up to his reputation. He usually brags about how he's so awesome, killing demons like scything flax. He's invincible when he goes on a killing spree. What's going on? He's just dealing with a junior at the returning truth realm, and it's 1 against 3. Now, he doesn't even have the chance to fight evenly with that kid. Instead, he's being beaten up like a dog. He's embarrassing all lightning tribulation realm mighty figures. That bald monk has been cultivating for so long. Where has his cultivation gone? Don't tell me he's been a vegetarian all day. He was infuriated. He had been hoping that Monk Demolisher, Yuan Jun, and Juhai would be able to kill Xiaoping. At the very least, they would be able to fight evenly and injure Xiaoping. Who would have thought that the situation would be reversed? Instead, Monk Demolisher and the other 2 were beaten so badly. They were constantly on the defensive and had no strength to fight back. The situation was too exaggerated. Actually, you can't blame Monk Demolisher and the others. That kid is just too monstrous. That's Buddhist karmic fire. He actually swallowed it like a jelly bean. He's completely unharmed. Is he even human? Unheard of. Taoist Ermu was shocked by what had just happened. He thought that he had lived for tens of thousands of years and was experienced. There shouldn't be many things in the universe that could shock an old man like him. But now he was shocked. The Buddhist karmic fire that was said to be invincible and the nemesis of all demons in the world was actually useless against Xiaoping. It had been swallowed in one gulp and even increased in cultivation. He immediately raised Xiaoping's threat level to an unprecedented level. If he couldn't befriend such a monster, he had to kill him. He had to pay any price to kill him. Indeed, this kid is simply a peerless monster. To tell the truth, Monk Demolisher and the others can't be said to be weak. They could be considered the cream of the crop amongst Lightning Tribulation Realm experts. After all, their reputation for killing fiendish demons isn't just for show. They've killed mountains of corpses. But such a cruel monk was being beaten like a dog by this kid. He couldn't even fight back. Was this really a junior at the returning True Realm? Who exactly is the Almighty? The Bloodsea Elders also nodded. They were incomparably fearful. They felt that this boy was a thorn in the side of their demonic path organization. They had to eliminate him as soon as possible. Otherwise, who knew how many demonic path figures would die? The better Xia Ping performed, the heavier their killing intent became. Right, we must kill that brat. Otherwise, we will never be able to get out of this predicament. Wolf Garen, do it. Don't wait anymore. If we wait any longer, Monk Demolisher and the others will be killed. When that happens, that kid will obtain some treasures and become much stronger. How will we stand a chance then? We can only turn around and leave. Many demons started shouting. They weren't fools. They could naturally sense the great threat Xia Ping posed. Hearing this, Wolf Garen was overjoyed. The hearts of the people could be used. If they still couldn't kill Xia Ping, then he would immediately avoid him if he met him in the future. He would never be his enemy again. Everyone, Wolf Garen growled, this sneak attack is very crucial. It's a sure kill attack. Don't hide your strength. You have to use all your powers and mobilize your essence, chi, and spirit. Even if you have to burn your lifespan, you have to do it. I believe you've all seen how cruel that kid Xia Ping is. He has endless methods. Even a Lightning Tribulation Realm expert like Monk Demolisher was able to suppress him. If we can't kill him this time and let him escape, based on his methods, temperament, and talent, it'll be terrible if he takes revenge in the future. It's possible that we'll all die. He fiercely warned everyone not to hold back. Don't worry. This matter is very important. We naturally won't hold back. When we attack later, we'll focus on killing Xia Ping. Ignore Monk Demolisher and the rest. Xia Ping is the real threat. That's right. Xia Ping is the real threat. If he doesn't die, I won't be able to eat or sleep in peace. Many demons started shouting. Attack! Wolf Garen didn't waste any time. He immediately activated the formation. Celestial Wolf Supreme Profound God Slaying Formation. Boom! In an instant, the star region within a radius of billions of kilometers trembled. A large formation broke through the void and descended from a dimensional world. The entire space shook intensely, and the stars trembled. Immediately, this large formation revolved crazily. Magic power vibrated, and the surroundings were filled with strange and terrifying black energy. It rapidly condensed and transformed into a terrifying wolf claw. There were many terrifying runes on this wolf claw. They wriggled like hellish worms, filled with endless slaughter, blood, and crazy energy. It contained destructive power. Moreover, this black wolf claw was incomparably huge. When it grabbed a planet, it was like a normal human grabbing a glass bead. With a light squeeze, the planet would shatter like tofu. In an instant, when the black wolf's claw swiped over, everywhere it passed, everything exploded inch by inch. Countless meteors collapsed, shattered, and turned into nothingness. It was even to the extent that many planets were shattered into pieces and completely destroyed. There was nothing in the surroundings that could withstand this wolf claw. In a region of billions of kilometers, anything that came into contact with a wisp of darkness aura would be shattered into dust. At this moment, Monk Demolisher and the other two naturally sensed the killing intent coming from afar. Damn it, what's going on? There's actually a sneak attack. Taoist Emu, Wolf Race's leader, Bloodsea's two elders. All of them are universe demons. To think that they're lying in ambush here. Could it be that they've been plotting against us for a long time? No, that's not right. This isn't targeting us. The killing intent that fills the sky is targeting Xia Ping alone. That's right. This brat has obtained countless benefits in the heaven-accessing secret realm. The legacy of Lord Subadhara, the longevity fruit, and so on are all things that Thunder Tribulation Realm cultivators desire. In fact, Xiaoping has even schemed against them once before. They've become mortal enemies. It's only natural for them to come for revenge this time. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Let's wait and see first. Don't make a move. Let's watch Taoist Emu and the others fight with Xiaoping. Maybe we'll have a chance to capture all these demons in one fell swoop. Monk Demolisher, Monk Yuan Jun, and Monk Ju Hai's eyes lit up. In a breath's time, they roughly understood the whole story. Chapter 1769. Have they finally attacked? Feeling the overwhelming killing intent, Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. In reality, he had already known through the system that Taoist Emu was lying in ambush nearby, waiting for a chance to kill him. Thus, he had been paying attention to them, waiting for them to attack. Now, they really couldn't hold back anymore. They exposed their location and appeared from the darkness. One had to say that Taoist Emu's group was really strong. Their attacks contained world-destroying power. Ordinary Lightning Tribulation Realm cultivators probably wouldn't be able to block it and would be killed instantly. But he was already prepared for something like this. He wasn't afraid. Saint Artifact, Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. In an instant, Xiaoping took out the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. His 9 primordial spirits trembled, and his immense magic power surged into the depths of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. Immediately, a huge formation appeared from the depths of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. This was the infinite spatial map. It was filled with dense spatial power and void power. When this great array was manifested, it formed an independent space array. With Xiaoping's body as the center, a huge independent space emerged, just like a dimensional world. Vaguely, Xiaoping could feel the power of the universe, yin and yang, time, space, and other things coming from this independent space. It contained incredible world power. Whoosh! With a thought, his entire body was instantly sucked into the great formation. His figure disappeared from this space and arrived in the dimensional world formed by the Wuji space map. In such a dimensional world, no power could harm Xiaoping in the slightest. It was like watching everything happening in this place from another space. Rumble, in the blink of an eye, the power of the celestial wolf supreme, profound god, slaying formation, came crashing down. Killing intent was everywhere. Terrifying spatial storms and energy storms erupted. Dong dong dong. A terrifying explosion occurred within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. Everything was instantly shaken into powder, and many uninhabited planets were turned into powder, completely disappearing. Even this space was pierced through. It was like it was connected to a dimensional world. This power was like a star exploding. It gave birth to world-destroying power. Ordinary Lightning Tribulation Realm cultivators would be instantly killed and turned to dust. Damn it! Monk Demolisher, Monk Yuan Jun, and Monk Juehai had wanted to watch the show, but this attack was indiscriminate. It was an area of effect. Even if they wanted to dodge, it was impossible. They immediately used the Buddhist sect's Vajra divine ability, forming a huge Buddhist domain. It turned into a golden bell, and Buddhist scriptures appeared on it, buzzing. Fortunately, the attack was not aimed at them, and they were far away from the center of the attack, merely staying at the edge. Otherwise, this attack alone would have been enough to turn them into ashes. Even so, their bodies were heavily injured. Their golden bell canopy had been pierced, and they were drenched in blood. Crash! This attack lasted for 10 or so minutes, and energy continuously exploded in this region, destroying everything in the surroundings. What do you think? Is that kid dead? A devil sent a message through divine sense. Because the black energy in this area was too violent, sweeping in all directions, they could not sense what was happening in the center of the storm, nor did they know whether Xiaoping was dead or alive. He's definitely dead. With such a fierce attack, even the self-destruction of a star wouldn't be able to withstand it. I'm afraid that brat doesn't even have a corpse left. It's impossible for him to survive. That's right. Even a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert wouldn't be able to withstand that attack just now. How did that brat withstand it? There's no need to look. I reckon that Xiaoping has already been reduced to ashes by now. I'm a little worried that this attack will be too violent, causing his spatial ring to be destroyed. Even the longevity fruit will disappear in this explosion. Everyone discussed animatedly, their divine wills interweaving, wanting to know whether Xiaoping was dead or alive. No, the brat won't die that easily. He's a disciple of a saint after all, with countless fortuitous encounters and endless methods. I don't believe that he died so easily. He must only be seriously injured right now. He felt that Xiaoping would not die so easily. After all, he had fought with Xiaoping once before, so he naturally knew how difficult it was to deal with him. How could it be just a serious injury? That attack just now gathered the magic power of so many of our Thunder Tribulation Realm experts. Coupled with the Heavenly Wolf Supreme Profound God slaying formation, there's no reason for him to be alive. Some devils didn't think that Xiaoping could still live. No, that's not right. Taoist Mu recalled the details of what had just happened. I feel that our attacks seem to have hit empty air and all of our strength did not hit the other party. He had the feeling that his fist was hitting empty air. I have the same feeling. I don't know if everyone noticed, but that kid is a disciple of a saint after all. When we ambushed him just now, he actually didn't use any martial arts to counterattack or resist. This is very unusual, as if he had given up on resisting and accepted his fate. I don't think this cunning brat will accept his fate, the two Blood Sea Elders said in a deep voice. They also had a bad premonition. If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his corpse. Wolf Garen said coldly, "We have to dig 3 feet into the ground and find where this kid is. If he doesn't die, we won't be able to sleep or eat in peace. We definitely can't let him live." A sense of urgency and danger surged in his heart. For this ambush, he had paid a huge price. He had joined hands with many Thunder Tribulation Realm experts and even used up the clan's formation, Heavenly Wolf Supreme Profound God slaying formation. If he still couldn't kill Xiaoping and let him escape, then he would have suffered a huge loss. If they could capture Xiaoping and snatch all the treasures on him, they might be able to make up for their losses. However, if Xiaoping escaped, then he would lose everything. No one could accept such a reality, and everyone was unwilling to accept it. Without hesitation, they immediately cast a formation to search for Xiaoping's whereabouts nearby. Suddenly, a voice was heard in the minds of Taoist Mu and the other devils. "Wolf Garen, Taoist Mu, Blood Sea Elders, how have you been? You actually dared to chase me to this place. You're quite brave. Have you already written your wills? This day next year will be the anniversary of your death." Whoosh! In the next second, a figure flickered and immediately appeared in front of everyone. This person was Xiaoping. What? Hearing this, the expressions of Garen, Taoist Mu, the two Blood Sea Elders, and the rest changed drastically. Their faces were ashen. Although they already knew that there might be an accident in this ambush and that they couldn't kill Xiaoping, they still couldn't accept it. Chapter 1770. Damn it. How did this happen? That kid is still alive? What should we do? What should we do now? Even with this formation, we can't kill him. What tricks does this kid have? Damn it. We've spent so much effort, and yet we got nothing in return. Now that things have come to this, what should we do? What else can we do? Since we're going to die, of course we have to kill him. Don't tell me that you think this kid will let us go. That's right. That kid can't be fine after taking that attack. He must have been heavily injured. That's right. Moreover, he's been fighting with Broken Kill and 3 for such a long time and has used up most of his energy. He is probably at the end of his rope and is no match for us. We have to kill this kid now. He is just at the returning truth realm, and he is already so strong. If he advances to the law phase realm or even the lightning tribulation realm, we won't be able to survive. This kid must die. If not, we won't have a good time in the future. Everyone, think about it. Evilwood and the others discussed, and their spiritual wills intertwined. The more they discussed, the heavier their killing intent became. They knew that Xiaoping was a huge threat. If they didn't take this chance to kill him today, they wouldn't have a chance after a while. When that time came, they would be the ones being chased, and they would have to flee like dogs. Monk Broken Kill, I know you guys aren't dead. How about it? Do you want to join hands with us to kill this kid? Just at that moment, Wolf Garen sent a message with his spiritual wills. He wanted to join hands with Monk Broken Kill, Yuan Jun, and Monk Ju Hai. At that moment, Monk Broken Kill, Yuan Jun, and Monk Ju Hai appeared from the void. It was obvious that they had heard Wolf Garen's message. Interesting. You want us Buddhist faction to work with demons? Are you all crazy? Monk Broken Kill laughed coldly. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. You all should understand this logic. In the future, do you all not know who is the bigger threat, us demons or this kid? Wolf Garen wasn't moved. You are right. You demons can kill him anytime, but that kid can't. He grows too quickly, and we won't be able to stop him in the future. Monk Defeating Kill was not a pedantic person. He said, however, we can only work together this once. After we kill this brat, we will still be mortal enemies in the future. We will still have to slay demons and devils. He also felt that killing Xia Ping was the top priority, and other things could be put aside for the time being. Moreover, slaying demons and devils could be done at any time. Monk Demolisher, looks like you do have a sense of righteousness. However, everything can wait until we kill Xia Ping. It won't be too late to bicker about it after that. Garen the Wolf ignored Monk Demolisher's hostility. In any case, obtaining these 3 powerful helpers was the greatest reward they could obtain. Now, their chances of winning were even greater. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, Taoist Air Mu and the others, as well as Monk Demolisher and the other 2, exchanged glances. They seemed to have reached a telepathic connection, and there was no need for them to say anything. They immediately attacked. Instantly, rays of terrifying cold light emerged from the sky. Like a thunderstorm, they covered the entire area and began their destructive attacks. Countless martial path divine abilities erupted, extremely resplendent, like streams of flowing light, streaking across the dark sky, beautiful, but containing boundless killing intent. Every attack contained terrifying power, shocking everyone and causing the planet to tremble. Demons and monks working together? I can't believe you could think of that. However, do you think that you can kill me just by working together? Naive. Seeing such attacks, Xia Ping was unmoved. His expression was indifferent. Perhaps you don't know this, but from the beginning until now, I've been waiting for you to attack. I want to kill you all in one fell swoop. Looks like this is my chance. Kill us all in one fell swoop? You're crazy. Who do you think you are? You think you have a chance to kill us all in one fell swoop? Hearing this, the Blood Sea elders laughed loudly, as if they had heard the funniest joke in the world. But their laughter stopped abruptly. Their faces were filled with shock and terror, because they saw Xia Ping wave his hand, and a spatial tunnel appeared in the sky. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, the entire starfield was filled with abyssal demons. They were densely packed, and there were many of them. At a glance, there were at least 10 million of them. Their cultivation levels were not weak either. They were at least at the returning nature realm, and there were quite a few at the peak of the Dharma plane. Instantly, the entire area was filled with demonic chi, as if it had become a demonic domain. Dong! These abyssal demons worked together, and the demonic chi condensed into one, producing a terrifying matrix aura. In an instant, it blocked all the attacks of Lang Garen and the others, turning them into nothingness. And Xia Ping stood behind them, unharmed. Like a god, his gaze cold and aloof, he was high above them. Abyssal demons? How did you summon so many abyssal demons at once? Are you a demon spy, hiding in the human world, planning to carry out some scheme? Taoist Air Mu was so shocked that he almost peed his pants. He thought that he had discovered the biggest secret of Xia Ping's identity. He was not a human, but a demon spy, hiding in the human society. That was why he was so demonic. In the depths of his mind, he thought of all kinds of evil plans. There seemed to be an overwhelming aura of destruction spreading over. Perhaps this was a crisis on a universal level. Taoist Air Mu, don't be fooled by this kid. Look carefully. These abyssal demons are not ordinary. They don't seem to be as violent and evil as ordinary abyssal demons. Garen narrowed his eyes, as if sensing that these abyssal demons were not ordinary. Impossible. At this moment, Monk Pasha and the other two seemed to have noticed something. Their eyes widened and they screamed, "You actually have such a method to expiate the abyssal demons?" Impossible. This is the supreme method of Sabatala, and you actually learned it. How long has it been? How old are you? You actually cultivated the expiation scripture to such a level. Impossible. This is a hallucination. This must be a hallucination. They completely lost control of their emotions, thinking that they had fallen into an illusion, because they could instantly tell that these abyssal demons had been expiated by Xiaoping. That was why they were so quiet, so peaceful, and the demonic aura on their bodies had been completely subdued. This was originally a supreme method of Buddhism, and not many people had learned it. But this Tao sect disciple had learned it. Expiation scripture? Is this the legacy of Venerable Sabatala? It can't be. What method is this? Even the abyssal demons can be expiated, brainwashed, and become his subordinates? Taoist Air Mu and the others came back to their senses. They had also heard of similar secret techniques of Buddhism. It was said that when the expiation scripture was cultivated to a high level, even dogs would think that they were cats, and men would think that they were women. But they did not expect that the abyssal demons, the most evil creatures in the world, could be expiated. It was simply too unbelievable. What method was this? Chapter 1771. You can actually recognize that this is the expiation scripture. At least you know your stuff. But it's useless because all of you will die here today. With a thought, Xiaoping immediately gave an order to the group of abyssal demons. Stupid kid. Although there are many abyssal demons, they are far from enough to deal with us Thunder Tribulation Realm experts. Thunder Tribulation Realm. Do you know the Thunder Tribulation Realm? This is the supreme realm of cultivation, the limit of mortals. These abyssal demons are nothing. You don't understand how terrifying we Thunder Tribulation Realm experts are. Garen sneered, thinking that the other party was just struggling before death. Benefactor, return to the Lord's embrace with me. At this moment, before Garen could finish speaking, a Transcendence Realm demon flew over. It bowed with its hands folded in front, its eyes filled with sincerity and incomparable calmness. At the same time, a terrifying dermic power was brewing in its body. Like an energy storm, its skin burst open, bursting out wisps of demonic aura. It was extremely eerie and terrifying. Oh no, hide quickly. That abyssal demon is going to self-destruct and die with you. Taoist, Emu's expression changed. He sensed the terrifying energy contained in this abyssal demon. At the moment of explosion, the destructive power was no less than that of a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert. Damn it! Is this abyssal demon crazy? It self-destructs at the drop of a hat. Garen was so scared that he peed his pants. His face was pale. If he was careless and suffered the power of this self-destruction, he would probably be seriously injured and suffer heavy losses. It was just like how a weak soldier could not defeat a soldier king. But if the soldier had a bomb on him and died together with the soldier king would also die. This was risking one's life for another. Although Transcendence Realm demons were no match for a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert, if they self-destructed, the power produced would definitely threaten the life of a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert. However, Taoist, Mu, and the other Thunder Tribulation Realm experts had never encountered such a thing. After all, cultivators who could cultivate to the Transcendence Realm cherished their lives very much. Who would be willing to self-destruct and die with the enemy? Unless they were in a desperate situation, no one would be willing to do so. Almsgiver, don't be nervous. Death isn't the end, but the beginning. Hell is our final destination. Before Wolf Garen could leave in an instant, another abyss demon flew up and self-destructed. Come with us into the arms of the Lord. You are a sinful creature. Only death can pay for your sins. Benefactor, come, follow us back to the world. I came naked, and I'll leave naked. Isn't that great? One by one, the abyss demons tore through the void and flew over, instantly, surrounding Garen. Scram! All of you scram. You're all lunatics. All of you are F***king lunatics. I don't want to enter the embrace of such a dog, *T master. All of you scram. Wolf Garen had gone mad. He used all of his skills to try and break through the encirclement of these abyss demons. What should we do? Do you want to save Wolf Garen? Someone wanted to help. Save my *S. Wolf Garen is dead for sure. These abyss demons are crazy and want to self-destruct. How can we save him? A group of demons cursed. If he was surrounded, there was still a possibility of saving him. However, that group of people were all carrying bombs on their backs, madmen who wanted to perish together with them. They would probably end up like Lang Garen not long after they went in to rescue them, getting blown up alive. It's too late. Taoist Ermu's eyes were filled with shock. He saw thousands of Dharma phase realm abyss demons appear and surround Wolf Garen. They self-destructed at the same time. Bang, bang, bang. The power of each Dharma phase realm abyss demon's self-destruction was extremely terrifying. It was like a spatial storm that swept through the 9 heavens and 10 earths, piercing through the void and shaking the universe. Wolf Garen kept struggling and used all sorts of treasures. His body was covered in dense runes that stacked on top of each other. There were 108,000 layers, forming a spatial barrier-like defense. But it was useless. The power of thousands of peak Dharma phase realm demons self-destructing was too terrifying. Moreover, the Abyss Demon Shi had the ability to corrode all energy and was specialized in breaking protective treasures. No. Help me. I'm the leader of the wolf race, a thunder tribulation realm mighty figure. I'm going to become a sage in the future. I can't die just like this. Wolf Garen let out a shrill scream. He was terrified. He struggled, roared, was unwilling, and begged for help. But it was useless. This black storm was born and destroyed everything. In an instant, his entire body was destroyed. Even his essence spirit was destroyed completely. Nothing was left. Seeing this scene, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. Retreat. Retreat immediately. This kid is a monster. We can't fight him head-on. Run quickly. Run as far as you can. Taoist Ermu and the rest were terrified to the extreme. They didn't dare to fight against Xiaoping at all. This brat still had millions of abyssal demons in his hands. Now, he had killed a Thunder Tribulation Realm demon just by detonating 1,000 of them. With so many demons in hand, he could kill them dozens of times. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. They didn't say a word and instantly fled. They used all their strength, burned their chi and blood, used their Dharma treasures, and fled into the distance. Benefactor, why run? Fear is just a kind of fear of death. Once you're dead, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Under the glory of the Lord, death is just a formality. Everyone is eternal. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. This is the law of the universe. Why resist? One by one, the abyss demons started moving. They flew in all directions and surrounded the surrounding area of a few 100 million kilometers. They covered the sky and the earth as they scattered everywhere. Boom! In an instant, millions of abyss demons self-destructed at the same time, giving rise to a terrifying energy storm. It shook and shook continuously for a long time. It was as if a cosmic storm was blowing endlessly. Such a wave was too terrifying. Thousands of light years away, many mighty figures of the Lingyun sect sensed this violent energy storm. All of them were shocked. They immediately looked at this place, but they couldn't see anything. They only saw a huge black energy storm spreading wildly in all directions like a star exploding. Ordinary cultivators didn't dare to go near it all. Once they did, they would be swept up and turned to dust. And in the center of the energy storm, Taoist Ermu, the 2 elders of the Blood Sea, Monk Demolisher, and the others all let out shrill cries. They struggled to survive and fled. But it was useless. The speed of the black energy explosion was unimaginable. No matter how they ran, they couldn't escape the range of the storm. Chapter 1772. Half an hour later, the energy storm in this area finally stopped. The power of self-destruction is truly terrifying. Xiaoping sighed in admiration. He discovered that the abyssal demons he had enlightened were extremely terrifying. Their bodies contained abyssal energy that surpassed cultivators of the same level. At the same time, they had characteristics of destruction, corrosion, and so on. In the ancient war, every abyssal demon's self-destruction brought great lethality to the allied forces of the universe. They were like nightmares that made people fearful. Now that he had enlightened these abyssal demons, they had become a lethal weapon in his hands. He had originally thought that he would only have a chance to kill these lightning retribution realm experts by self-destruction of millions of abyssal demons. But now, it seemed that he had underestimated the power of the abyssal demons' self-destruction. Just the power of 1,000,000 abyssal demons' self-destruction was enough to wipe out the group of lightning retribution realm experts, turning them into nothingness. The so-called Taoist evil would, the two Blood Sea elders, Monk Demolisher, and other famous lightning retribution realm experts were as fragile as glass. They were all killed. Good treasures. Xiaoping waved his hand, and the spatial rings left behind by Monk Demolisher and the others were immediately collected by him. These were a large number of treasures from the lightning retribution realm experts. They were extremely precious. Of course, compared to his current wealth, these lightning retribution realm experts were incomparable. But no matter how small a mosquito was, it still had meat. This could be considered nourishment. Devour. Xiaoping circulated his qigong. With his body as the center, a terrifying vortex and devouring power were produced. Immediately, the scattered soul energy all surged into the depths of his sea of consciousness. Although these abyssal demons and lightning retribution realm experts were dead, they still left behind a lot of soul energy. This could be used as nourishment for him. Whoosh! After devouring the scattered soul energy, he felt that his primordial spirit and 9 primordial spirits had become much stronger. His purple mansion space was also expanding bit by bit. Even his magic power cultivation had become much stronger. He had taken a big step towards the peak of the middle stage of Reverting Truth Realm. It was probably not impossible for him to break through to the middle stage of Reverting Truth Realm after a period of time. Oh, someone's coming. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He sensed powerful auras flying over nearby. It was probably the soaring cloud sex experts who had sensed the energy storm here and were trying to investigate. He did not want to meet this group of people, so he immediately entered the stars and quickly escaped. After Xiaoping left, the soaring cloud sex experts finally arrived. However, they could only sense the chaotic energy storm in the surroundings. What exactly is fighting here? It's very strange. There's the aura of the Buddhist sect, the demonic sect, and even the aura of the abyssal demons. It's a mixture of fish and dragons. The situation is really strange. The person involved has already left. It's impossible to trace him. Let's retreat. Let the patriarch come and investigate. The energy that erupted here is very terrifying. I'm afraid many thunder tribulation eminences have died. I still want to be careful and not go too deep. Otherwise, a few of us will die. Many of the elders of the Lingyun sect had a serious look on their faces. They were extremely fearful. They did not dare to investigate the person who could create such a huge energy storm. After confirming that the other party did not target the Lingyun sect, they could only settle the matter hastily and find nothing. However, this matter was far from over. This was because before Taoist heir Mu and the others died, they had spread the news of their deaths to their friends and family, as well as the forces behind them, so that they could take revenge for them. They were not willing to die silently like this. Even if they died, they had to cause great trouble for Xiaoping. Very soon, the news of Langaren and the others' death spread throughout the universe. Their scoundrel friends found out, and they also spread the news to other places, letting countless people know about it. In particular, the major intelligence organizations were the first to know about this matter. They were shocked. It can't be. Blood Sea's 2 elders, Wolf Clan's leader Langaren, Taoist heir Mu, and the others were all killed? These are all old demons. They are vicious and cunning. Who can kill them? Could it be a saint? After hearing this news, someone was extremely shocked. He even thought that he had heard wrongly. The person who killed him is Universe Sect Xiaoping. Someone said in a deep voice, Taoist Air Mu and the others spread the news before they died, so that their clansmen and friends could take revenge for them. They died very tragically. He described the source of the information. Is that true? Taoist Air Mu and the others are all old demons. Could it be that they were betrayed by someone? It's not like that. They wanted to ambush Xiaoping, but they didn't expect Xiaoping to be so ferocious and powerful. In the end, they were chased and couldn't escape at all. Damn, I also know that Universe Sect Xiaoping. He's just a junior at the Returning Truth Realm. How can he be so powerful? He can even kill old demons like Taoist Air Mu and the others. Don't underestimate that Xiaoping. It's said that he had many fortuitous encounters and obtained 28 immemorial heavenly dragon talismans from somewhere. They form the 28 constellation formation. It's extremely powerful and can suppress lightning tribulation realm experts. Other than that, he also obtained supremacy, Sabatila's inheritance, and cultivated the Expiation Heart Sutra to a high level. He even expiated tens of millions of abyss demons as death warriors. The result is obvious. Xiaoping ordered millions of abyss demons to self-destruct. The resulting power killed Taoist Air Mu and the others. They couldn't escape at all. You must be joking. He can even expiate abyss demons? It's not like I haven't seen the Expiation Heart Sabatila before. Although some Buddhist monks have cultivated it, they can at most expiate cultivators who are 2 realms weaker than them. Any cultivator with strong willpower can easily resist the expiation power. There's no need to mention abyss demons. I've never heard of anyone being able to expiate them. Even among the many Buddhist sages, only supremacy, Sabatila, has such earth-shattering power. The other Buddhist sages don't have such power. Who knows? Maybe that Xiaoping is such a peerless monster. Otherwise, why would supremacy, Sabatila, abandon his sectarian bias and give him the inheritance? If he doesn't have this bit of talent, is it possible? Everyone discussed and said what they knew. They were also incomparably shocked. He was just a junior at the Returning Truth Realm, but he could kill so many Lightning Tribulation Realm experts. Most likely, after this battle, everyone would give Universe Sect Xiaoping a sidelong glance. This was already no longer as simple as a young genius, completely growing into a great figure, enough to rival cultivators of the older generation and be mentioned in the same breath. However, the things he has done are simply too big. He killed Monk Demolisher and the other eminent monks of the Buddhist school, killed the Wolf Race's patriarch, and even killed the Bloodsea Patriarchs, the 2 old demons of the Bloodsea organization. There's no need to even talk about the other demons. Someone said in a low voice, even if Heaven and Earth Sect is a sage sect, they probably won't be able to do well against so many forces. It seems like Heaven and Earth Sect must have suffered heavy losses recently and been surrounded by many forces. He believed that Heaven and Earth Sect would suffer heavy losses because of Xiaoping's actions. Maybe they would be attacked everywhere, and there would be countless casualties. Chapter 1773. At this moment, Western Cosmos Wolf Race. The news of Wolf Race leader Garen's death spread back and shook the entire Wolf Race. Countless elders gathered at the headquarters and were filled with righteous indignation. Too much, too much. This human Xiaoping is simply too arrogant. He actually dared to openly kill my Wolf Clan's patriarch. Even the young patriarch Lang Beijiang and many other Wolf Clan elders died in his hands, causing our Wolf Clan to suffer heavy losses. A supreme elder roared, "Everyone, if we don't kill the human Xiaoping, will our wolf race still be able to survive in the Western Cosmos? Will people still respect us?" Our leader was killed, and more than 10 elders were killed. Now, we don't even dare to fart. In the future, who will fear our wolf race? Who will look up to us? He was furious. Kill that human Xiaoping, cut off his head, and hang it on the gate of our encampment. Kill the chicken to scare the monkey, blood for blood, a tooth for a tooth. An elder of the Wolf Clan roared, his killing intent soaring. It wanted to immediately capture Xiaoping and kill him to take revenge. But that human is a direct disciple of Heaven and Earth sect and a saint's disciple. If we want to deal with him, we have to deal with Heaven and Earth sect first. This is a huge battle. An elder of wolf race said cautiously. Nonsense, that supreme elder scolded. What's so great about Heaven and Earth sect? They are just a faction of a human race. How can they compare to our famous wolf race? If Heaven and Earth sect wants to fight with us, then let's fight. Do we not have any saints? Can't we stop Heaven and Earth sect's saints? Even our leader was killed by that brat, and he doesn't even dare to take revenge. Who do we think we are? It glared angrily at the wolf elder who had just spoken. Supreme Elder is right. This is a life and death enmity. So what if it is Heaven and Earth sect? No one can stop us from taking revenge. Attack Heaven and Earth sect and demand that they hand over the murderer Xiaoping. If not, we will flatten Heaven and Earth sect and slaughter the humans of the 6 starfields. We will let those stupid humans know how ferocious our wolf race is. Start the war immediately. Plunder the Cosmos faction starfield and kill all those lowly humans. The elites of Wolf Clan roared towards the sky, their emotions surging, expressing that they were going to fight to the death with Universe Sect. They were going to attack Universe Sect and slaughter all the disciples of Universe Sect to take revenge. Very good. The wolf race's supreme elder was in high spirits, feeling that the will of the people could be used. This was an unprecedented unity of the wolf race, an unprecedented surge. This was a battle of revenge, and they would most likely be able to slaughter the Heaven and Earth sect. As long as the Wolf Clan could flatten the 6 great star regions of Chinquin's sect, annihilating them and plundering all of their treasures, it would be enough to make up for all the losses of the Wolf Clan. Just when the Supreme Elder of the Wolf Clan wanted to give the order to mobilize all the troops of the Wolf Clan to attack Chinquin's sect, a voice suddenly rang out, and it contained supreme dignity. Shut up. Immediately give up on the matter of attacking the Chinquin sect and act as if nothing has happened. Not a single soldier is allowed to step into the Chinquin sect. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. What? When they heard this, all the elders and supreme elders of the wolf race were shocked, because the person who spoke was the saint of their wolf race, Howling Moon Old Ancestor. Old Ancestor, why can't we attack? That human Xiaoping is extremely savage and unbridled. He slapped the face of my wolf clan and killed my wolf clan's patriarch and many of our elites. If we can't even take revenge, then what face does my wolf clan have? The supreme elder of the wolf race found it hard to believe that Howling Moon Old Ancestor would stop them from taking revenge. The Heaven and Earth sect is different from the past. That old ghost Dark North might have advanced to the invincible realm. If I attack him, not only will I not be able to stop him, but I might even be killed. All of you mustn't act rashly, otherwise it will be the end of our wolf race. Howling Moon Old Ancestor spoke in a low voice and spoke of some recent news. How is that possible? How can that Dark North saint be so strong? When they heard this news, all the elders of the wolf race were dispirited. It was as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over their heads, extinguishing all their anger and replacing it with fear. If they didn't know about this news and want to take revenge on Heaven and Earth sect, then even their old ancestor would be killed. At that time, there wouldn't be any face to talk about. It would be the end of their race. That was because in the universe, the top combat strength was the saint. If the saint could block it, then he would win. If he couldn't, then he would die. As for the other mortals, they were all useless. They were all cannon fodder. If even their old ancestor couldn't block Heaven and Earth sect saint, then they would just be sending themselves to death. Anyway, this matter ends here. Pick a new chief and don't cause any more trouble. Moreover, this matter was caused by Wolf Garen. They ambushed Dark North Saint's disciple, but were killed instead. However, it can't be said no matter where it happened. If Dark North Old Ghost wants to punish us, we might have to apologize. Howling Moon Old Ancestor said in a low voice. What? That bastard killed our chief and so many elders. We still have to apologize? Is there such logic in this world? All the elders of the wolf race said angrily. They had never encountered such a thing before. Not only did they not take revenge, they even had to apologize. They were worried that Dark North Saint would punish them. This was simply a humiliation to the wolf race. There is only one logic in this world. The strong are respected. Everything else is bullsh*t. Prepare the compensation. Don't let Heaven and Earth sect find an excuse to find trouble with our wolf race. Otherwise, our wolf race will be in danger. Howling Moon Old Ancestor said helplessly. There was a hint of sadness in his voice. How could he not want to take revenge? However, he wasn't strong enough. Could it be that he couldn't bear to be killed? To be honest, when it heard that the Northern Dark Saint had killed the Raging Slaughter Saint, the Black Demon Ancestor, the Ice Demon Saint, and the Thunder Barbarian Saint, it was also quite shocked. It did not expect that such a terrifying existence would appear in the human clan. Hearing this, all the elders of the wolf race were terrified. If even the old ancestor was so terrified, then what could they do? Without the protection of Howling Moon Old Ancestor, their wolf race would have been wiped out long ago. They were helpless. The world was huge, and the fist was the biggest. So what if their chief was killed? Without strength, they could only obediently apologize. Otherwise, their race would be wiped out. Western Universe Buddhist Sect. Many monks heard the news that Monk Busha, Monk Yuan Jun, Monk Ju Hai, and the others were killed by Xiaoping. All of them were furious. This was because they were all monks of the Buddhist sect. They were the true pillars of the sect. Now that they were killed, this was something that the Buddhist sect couldn't accept. All the disciples of the Buddhist sect knew about this. Chapter 1774. Pasha, Yuan Jun, Ju Hai, and the rest have already passed away. I wonder what everyone thinks about this. A Buddhist sect abbot asked. No opinion. This time, Pasha, Yuan Jun, Ju Hai, and the rest were killed in order to retrieve supremacy, Subbaduo's inheritance. This is the act of a devil. We have to eradicate the devil and maintain the righteousness of the Buddhist sect. Otherwise, the souls of the dead Buddhist sect disciples won't be able to rest in peace. An elder of the Buddhist sect stated his opinion, his killing intent surging. Elder is right. Uncle Master Pasha and the rest can't die for nothing. Not only did they snatch our supremacy's inheritance, they even killed Uncle Master Pasha and the rest. We can't forgive them. Regardless of whether it's for the Buddhist sect's inheritance or to eradicate the devil, that Xinquan sect Xiaoping definitely can't be left alive. However, this Xiaoping has quite a major power behind him. He has the support of Xinquan sect. This is no small matter. So what? He killed junior brother Pasha and the rest. This matter definitely can't end like this. We have to demand an explanation from Xinquan sect. If we don't give them an explanation, this matter won't end. A cold light flashed in the eyes of the many Buddhist sect elders. Clearly, they all agreed that they had to take revenge and make Xinquan sect pay the price. No one could offend the Buddhist sect and still be able to get away scot-free. Pass down my orders. Get all the disciples of the Buddhist sect to move out. We will head to Xinquan sect and demand an explanation from them. The abbot of the Buddhist sect spoke. Stop it. This matter ends here. Suddenly, a rumbling sound rang out in the entire Buddhist sect hall. After that, a Buddha appeared in midair. He shone with a resplendent golden light like the sun, shining brilliantly. Vaguely, countless chanting sounds rang out from the depths of the void. Many lotus flowers appeared in the void. Countless Buddhist runes appeared, and golden lotuses appeared on ground. Reverend Stainless. Seeing the appearance of this Buddha, the many Buddhist sect elders were shocked. They immediately clasped their hands to show respect. This was because this was a supreme sage of the Buddhist sect. His status was lofty and surpassed everything. Reverend Stainless, why do we have to end this matter here? Junior Brother Shatterer and the others were killed by the evil devil. This is a blood feud. Moreover, that universe sect Xiaoping even seized Paragon Subbeduo's inheritance, stealing the secrets of our Buddhist sect. We have to take it back. The abbot said in a deep voice, expressing his confusion. An eye for an eye, an eye for an eye. Since this is Uncle Master Sabatila's decision, there is no need for us to question it. Although it is a secret of the Buddhist school, it is not something that only disciples of the Buddhist school can obtain. The most important thing is that North Sea Saint of the Chinquin sect has already advanced to the invincible realm. His strength is no small matter. Now is a troubled time, and it is really not suitable to be enemies with such an expert. What? Many of the Buddhist elders were astonished. The Cosmos faction's Dark North Saint had actually advanced to such a realm. They finally understood why the supremacies were so fearful and didn't want to become enemies with the Cosmos faction. It was because this kind of unmatched saint was just too terrifying, almost standing at the peak of the universe, comparable to the ancient saints. Once a war broke out, the bitterness would be unimaginable. Even if it was a corner of the universe, it would be destroyed and countless lives would be lost. Moreover, the Buddhist sect wasn't prepared to clash with such a top expert. The gains did not make up for the losses. Supremacies, we understand, the abbot said in a deep voice. He clenched his fists, feeling very unwilling. However, with a powerful saint like the Dark North Saint supporting him, there was nothing he could do even if he was unwilling. At this moment, in another place, the Blood Sea secret realm. This was a place where countless demons gathered in the universe. Everywhere was blood red and filled with killing intent. It could be said to be one of the dirtiest places in the universe. Even if disciples of the Buddhist sect entered this place, they would probably be corroded by the baleful energy and their Tao fruits would be polluted. Many demons were discussing among themselves. The Blood Sea 2 elders are dead. It seems like they were killed by a disciple of the Chinquin sect, a brat called Xiaoping. A demon laughed and spread this news. The Blood Sea 2 elders are really old. They actually died in the hands of a brat after roaming for tens of thousands of years. How laughable. We can't underestimate this disciple of the Chinquin sect. Although he is only at the returning truth realm, his combat strength is boundless. He also has a secret treasure like the immemorial heavenly dragon talisman. He can even suppress ordinary lightning tribulation realm cultivators. It is said that before the Blood Sea 2 elders died, they activated the Blood Sea Order. Whoever kills Xia Ping will be able to obtain the secret treasure they left in the Blood Sea. Interesting. Does he hate that Xia Ping from the Chinquin sect so much? He didn't even let him off after his death. But is also quite beneficial to us. The Blood Sea 2 elders are demons that have roamed for tens of thousands of years. Even a rotten ship has 3 nails. Who knows how many treasures they left behind? As long as we kill that Xia Ping, we can obtain the secret treasure. How tempting. Although we might not be able to kill that brat in a head-on fight, ambushes and assassinations are our forte. There are too many ways to kill people. Assassination, curses, poison, etc. There are too many to count. In that case, you guys want to snatch the secret treasure from me. The treasures belong to the strongest. Let's see who can kill Xia Ping first. The numerous demons discussed. Their killing intent surged as they discussed who could kill Xia Ping the fastest. To them, this was just an interesting game. Boom, all of a sudden, a terrifying aura descended, enveloping the entire Blood Sea secret realm. The void froze, and all the demons could sense it. They immediately trembled and prostrated themselves. The other party was none other than the master of the Blood Sea secret realm. The Blood Sea Master. It was also because of the existence of the Blood Sea Master that the Blood Sea secret realm was able to become a paradise for the demons. After countless attacks from the righteous sects, the Blood Sea secret realm remained safe and sound. You guys can deal with Xia Ping, but you're not allowed to attack the Chinquin sect. You're not allowed to kill the living beings in the star regions ruled by the Chinquin sect. If you do, you will be banished from the Blood Sea secret realm forever. The voice of the Blood Sea Master rang out, letting all the demons know. What? When the numerous demons heard this, all of them were shocked. They didn't expect that the Blood Sea Master would personally appear and order them not to attack the Chinquin sect. If they did, they would be banished from the Blood Sea secret realm. One must know that the reason why they could roam freely was because of the protection of the Blood Sea Master. If they were banished from the Blood Sea secret realm, they would undoubtedly die. However, They didn't dare to disobey the orders of the Bloodsea Master because his orders were supreme and couldn't be disobeyed. He also wouldn't explain anything to them. Chapter 1775. Other than Bloodsea Secret Realm, Buddhist sect, wolf race, and other factions, the other factions wanted to take revenge, but were warned by their leaders not to touch Heaven and Earth sect. Otherwise, disaster would befall them. For a time, the entire universe was in a state of panic. Everything returned to its previous calmness, as if the death of Monk Demolish and the others was nothing. It was this calmness that caused all the major factions in the universe to discuss and speculate. What's going on? Monk Demolish and the other monks were killed, but the Buddhist sect didn't do anything. Are they not angry and don't want to take revenge? Not only did the Buddhist sect not take revenge, but the Western universe's wolf race also seems to be calm. They don't seem to have any intention of denouncing them. Their patriarch was clearly killed. This is a great humiliation. No. The strangest thing is those demons from Bloodsea organization. They're lawless and vengeful people. Someone killed their elders, so they will definitely take revenge. But they didn't do anything. It's like the Bloodsea elders didn't die. What happened? Many people felt puzzled. They felt that these factions weren't any weaker than Heaven and Earth sect. If they took revenge, Heaven and Earth sect would definitely suffer heavy losses. But they didn't expect that these factions didn't even dare to fart. They acted as if nothing had happened. This was simply unimaginable. Something must have happened that we don't know about. That's right. These factions have their own tempers, but they didn't take any action. Heaven and Earth sect strength must be beyond imagination, so they don't dare to act recklessly. It seems like Heaven and Earth sect isn't simple. We have to raise the evaluation of this sect. Everyone discussed. As the saying went, if something was out of the ordinary, there must be a demon. Their expressions were incomparably solemn as they re-evaluated Heaven and Earth sect's influence and the power behind their direct disciple, Xiaoping. The entire universe was surging with undercurrents. Countless factions were scouting for information. Of course, many factions were well-informed and soon found out about Dark North Sage killing the four saints. This caused many factions to be alarmed and list Heaven and Earth sect as a huge sect that couldn't be provoked. One day later, the myriad stars finally arrived at the cloud world. Nothing unexpected happened along the way, and everything went smoothly. I'm finally back. Xiaoping looked at the familiar cloud realm and felt very emotional. It seemed that this continent would never change. No matter how much time passed, it would always look the same. DD. At this time, the system's voice came, "Congratulations to the host. This time, you have aroused a lot of hatred and obtained 50 hatred crystals. Now you have a total of 250 hatred crystals. I hope you can continue to work hard. Looks like killing off Monk Demolisher and the others has provoked quite a bit of enmity." Xiaoping rubbed his chin. Whoosh! The flying ship quickly landed in the cloud world. With a snap, the cabin door opened and Xiaoping walked out. Xiaoping immediately sensed that the entire heavenly realm was exerting a terrifying suppression on him. His martial cultivation seemed to have been sealed in an instant, and it continued to decline until it reached the pinnacle of the transcendent realm. Now he finally understood what it felt like when the aliens came to the cloud world. His cultivation was sealed and suppressed to the transcendent realm, which indeed made him feel extremely weak. However, he was skilled and daring, so this was nothing. The heavenly realm is not simple. At this time, Xiaoping was knowledgeable and knew many mysteries in the universe. But a continent like the heavenly realm that could suppress the cultivation of cultivators was still extremely rare. Perhaps this continent contained a big secret. Moreover, he suddenly remembered the demon that was sealed in the Cloud Mountain range, devouring Heaven Demon Venerable. Now that he thought about it carefully, the demon was also extremely terrifying, but it was also sealed in the Cloud Mountain range. One could imagine how unusual this heavenly realm was. In fact, this time he came back to explore the secrets of the heavenly realm and see if there was a chance to swallow the entire continent and truly take it for himself. Let's see the current development of the heavenly realm first. Although Xiaoping wanted to know the secrets of the heavenly realm, he was not in a hurry. He came back to the heavenly realm and also wanted to rest. After all, cultivation could not be done all the time. It needed to be balanced between work and rest. His figure flickered as he walked on the land of the heavenly realm, looking at the newly built cities around him and feeling the current customs of the heavenly realm. One day later, Xiaoping roughly understood the current specific situation of the heavenly realm. Since the last time he destroyed a fleet of the Red Scarf bandits, he obtained a large number of battleships and flying swords from them, which contained countless technological secrets of the universe. For example, the warp speed engine, gravity control system, smart computer, nanomachines, mica steel, and other spaceship materials, and so on, were all completely deciphered by the scientists of the heavenly realm. Of course, the reason why they were able to decipher so quickly was also due to the use of the virtual network. The scientists went on the virtual network and eagerly learned a large number of advanced technological techniques in the universe. Although they did not learn the top ones, those that were a little behind were enough for the heavenly realm to eat. Therefore, the technology of the heavenly realm advanced by leaps and bounds, causing earth-shaking changes in the heavenly realm. At the same time, because of the surrender of the Oceanic clan and the Demon clan, the footsteps of humans spread throughout the entire heavenly realm. They built human cities one after another, like strongholds, distributed in every corner of the world. And these newly built cities also became places where the Oceanic clan, the Human clan, and the Demon clan coexisted. The three races lived in peace, and there was no longer the tension from before. Of course, some of the Demon clan and Oceanic clan who were dissatisfied with the ruling position of the Human clan appeared, but it was useless. Under the tyrannical technology and military force of the Human clan, all of them were suppressed. Those who committed crimes were shot or imprisoned. In short, these small conflicts did not affect the overall situation at all. At the same time, the martial arts cultivation of the Human clan also advanced by leaps and bounds. With the help of the 5-element spirit tree and the many elixirs in the universe, the Human clan Purple Mansion realm monarchs emerged one after another, and the number increased exponentially. Until now, there are already 100 million Purple Mansion realm monarchs, hundreds of thousands of fulfillment realm monarchs, and thousands of divine ability realm monarchs. It could be said that the forces of the Human clan on the Yin Huang planet were now different from the past. And wait, isn't this Dad? Suddenly, Xiao Pingxing walked on the bustling street and saw a huge TV screen above the street. The figure of his father, Xia Chuanlu, appeared on it. He was wearing a suit and leather shoes, and his hair was combed back, looking like a SAO bag. At this moment, he was standing on the podium. Below him, countless officials were listening and taking notes, and a large number of reporters were interviewing him with long and short cameras. His mother, Huang Lanxin, also seemed to be dressed up, sitting in the audience below. Her elegant behavior also attracted the attention of many reporters, snapping pictures. President? No way. Dad has become the Federation President. Chapter 1776. Cloud World, Federal Presidential Palace. At this moment, Xia Chuanlu was wearing a suit and leather shoes. He was sitting in his office with a cigar in his mouth. Next to him stood a group of middle-aged men in suits. They were all senior government officials and cabinet ministers who controlled the lifeline of the entire human world. Your Excellency. At this time, a bald official took a report and came forward to report. After 3 months of geographical survey, the design of the ultra-high-speed rail that will traverse the cloud realm is almost complete. Once the plan is successful, the entire cloud realm will become a village-like place, which will greatly accelerate the economic development of the cloud realm. Good. Work hard. When it is successful, everyone will have credit. Xia Chuanlu nodded. But there is a problem. The bald official revealed a troubled expression and said, "That's because we've passed through too many places along the way. Even though most of them are uninhabited, there are still a few that are inhabited by demons and humans. Of course, most of them agreed to move and agreed to the terms of the demolition and received sufficient compensation. However, the Fire Crow clan, Water Bear Clan and other demon clans refused to move. They said that this is where they have lived for generations. No matter how much money we give them, they won't move. They even led the protest and obstructed the construction team. What? How could such a thing happen? How could they not see the big picture? Did they not know how much benefit this ultra-high-speed railway would bring to the cloud world? How many people will be helped? How insensible! Xia Chuanlu waved his hand and said, "Demolish. Demolish them all. Do not leave a single strand of hair behind. Kill the chicken to scare the monkey. We cannot let these ignorant monsters hinder the development of our cloud realm. But they are very fierce. They may resist violently." The bald official said, "Resist violently? A group of idiots. Don't you know how to find a reason to imprison these demons for 8 to 10 years? When the ultra-high-speed railway is opened, what is done is done. Can they still turn the tables?" Xia Chuanlu was most familiar with this kind of thing. When he was an urban management officer, he had many ways to deal with those who resisted. But I'm afraid that the news media will not let this matter go. They will report it and say that this is against the human rights of demons. It will be very noisy. The bald official was worried about this. Report? Whichever newspaper dares to report it, shut it down, revoke its business license, and investigate them for tax evasion. Arrest all the editors and lock them up for 8 to 10 years. If they make me unhappy, I'll make them unhappy for the rest of their lives." Xia Chuanlu shouted. "The ultra-high-speed rail is a major event for us humans. We cannot afford to lose this future plan. Whoever dares to obstruct, it will be a sinner of the human race. Do you understand?" "Yes, yes, yes, the president is wise." The bald official was sweating profusely as he nodded. "By the way, is there anything else you need to report? I'm hungry, and I want to have lunch." Xia Chuanlu had a cigarette in his mouth. "Mr. President, there's one more thing that needs to be resolved." Another burly middle-aged official stood forward. He was a general and said in a deep voice, "Over the past few years, our plan to integrate the humans, sea folk, and demons has been very successful. However, there are some demons who are very dissatisfied. They have secretly formed a resistance army to resist the tyranny of humans. They are wreaking havoc everywhere and promoting the idea that the demons are supreme. In fact, this group of resistance army had carried out terrorist attacks everywhere. Many cities had already been destroyed by them, and many people had died or been injured. This situation was very serious. I hope His Excellency can think of a way." "What? Is there such a thing?" "These demons must be tired of living. Under the great unity of the humans, sea folk, and demons, there were actually these filthy villains who were wreaking havoc. This was outrageous." Xia Chuanlu was furious and said, "Immediately mobilize the Invincible Kings and a large number of elite troops. Conduct a carpet search and capture all these rats. Leave none alive. Of course, don't kill them all. It's best to capture them alive. Take them to mine and make them work for the humans. Only after squeezing out all their remaining value can they die." He immediately ordered the Invincible Kings to be mobilized. "Yes, His Excellency." Many of the officers present were extremely excited. They were waiting for Xia Chuanlu to say this. To be honest, a few years ago, the Invincible Kings were godlike existences in the cloud realm. The president was just a puppet of the Invincible Kings, obeying the orders of the Invincible Kings. Even now, there were many Invincible Kings, and even ordinary Invincible Kings had become inferior goods. However, they were not big shots that ordinary generals could mobilize. Their status was still high. Only Xia Chuanlu was qualified to do so. Not to mention that he controlled the 5-element spirit tree, which gave countless ordinary humans hope to become Invincible Kings, and he had many Invincible Kings with liquid robots protecting him. He was safe and invincible. His son, Xiaoping, the hero of the human race who brought humans into the universe, was enough to make countless Invincible Kings respect him. No one dared to disrespect Xia Chuanlu. With Xia Chuanlu's order, they dared to mobilize the Invincible Kings to do things for them. Because of this, Xia Chuanlu had become the most powerful president in history. With one order, He could mobilize all the resources and forces of the Cloud Realm in an instant. His power was boundless. His Excellency, our expeditionary force plan has also been successful. We have found dozens of resource planets 3 light years away from the Cloud Realm and obtained a large number of mineral resources. Can we excavate them? Another official from the Ministry of Economy asked. Oh, so many resource planets have been found. Very good. Keep up the good work. Plunder, plunder immediately. Dig out all the resources from those planets and fill the national treasury. Xia Chuanlu said fiercely. His Excellency, the elders of the Marine Clan and the Monster Clan have something to discuss about the Belt and Road Initiative. There will be a military exercise tomorrow. I hope His Excellency can attend. There will be a graduation speech at Yanhuang University the day after tomorrow. Many students are looking forward to it. The officials stepped forward one by one and reported their work. Cancel it. Cancel it all. Why are you so busy all day? Is this what being a president is like? Do I even have a private life? Can I still go out to play golf, ride horses, and sing? Don't disturb me if it's not important. Xia Chuanlu let loose a torrent of abuse, scolding this group of people. Yes, yes, yes. Cancel it immediately. Many officials were sweating profusely and obediently. They cursed in their hearts. Of course, a president had to be busy. Would he still be a president if he wasn't busy? Which president in the world could play golf, ride horses, and sing all day long? It was unreasonable. However, in the face of Xia Chuanlu's dictatorship, they didn't dare to resist. If there's nothing else, then leave. Xia Chuanlu waved his hand and ordered them to leave. Many officials in suits and leather shoes quickly retreated, leaving Xia Chuanlu alone. Phew! Xia Chuanlu took a puff of smoke and felt very comfortable. It was so cool to be a president. No one dared to disobey his orders. Everything big and small was handled by others. Dad, suddenly, a figure appeared in front of Xia Chuanlu. Who? Son. Chapter 1777. The Presidential Palace Dining Hall. At this moment, Xia Ping, Xia Chuanlu, and Huang Lanxin were eating. After the meal, there was a dazzling array of delicious food. There were no guard around, just the 3 of them. Dad, when did you become the president? Xia Ping asked curiously. Just half a year after you left the Sky Realm. At that time, there was a change of president, so someone recommended me, and I accidentally became the federal president. This is all due to the favor of the people. Xia Chuanlu was very proud. In fact, he did not want to be the president, but it was difficult to refuse the invitation of many high-level human officials. But who would have thought that Xia Chuanlu would have this day? He remembered that he was just a city manager of Tianshui City in Yanhuang Star. It was a lifelong dream to become the director of the City Management Bureau. But now he had become the president, above millions of people. It was simply unimaginable. If he said this a few years ago, no one would have believed it. They would have thought it was a fool's dream. Huang Lanxin was also emotional. She did not expect that she would become the president's wife one day. Now her sisters were flattering her, and their attitudes were completely different. Dad, can you be a good president? Xia Ping doubted. He also knew why many human officials elected Xia Chuanlu to be the president. At that time, almost all the invincible kings left the Sky Realm and ventured into the universe. And Xia Chuanlu was the only one with the invincible king combat strength who was still in the Sky Realm. After all, he had some liquid metal robots left by Xia Ping, and their strength was comparable to the divine power realm. For the future development of the human race, in order to suppress some of the demons and sea clans, only Xia Chuanlu was suitable to become the federal president. Of course, there were also some intentions of flattering him. No matter how he looked at it, letting Xia Chuanlu become the federal president was a matter of benefit and no harm for the human race of Yanhuang Star. Look at your eyes. Are you looking down on your dad? Hearing this, Xia Chuanlu immediately refused and said, there is no difference between being the president and being a city enforcement officer. If you see someone you don't accept, you beat them, and if you see someone blocking the road, you dismantle them. In short, use both the carrot and the stick. In short, in the past few years, The sky realm has been thriving, and I, Xia Chuanlu, have contributed to it. Xia Ping had to admit that his father had been the Federation president for such a long time without causing any major trouble. This was indeed a credit. In other words, anyone could be the president of the Federation. After all, the self-operating system of the human alliance had already matured. Human society would not be in trouble with or without a president. Right? Why did you come back this time? Xia Chuanlu asked curiously. He felt that Xia Ping must have a purpose for coming back this time. Dad, I want to move the cloud realm to another world, Xia Ping said in a low voice, stating one of the main reasons he came back, indicating that he might have offended many powerful enemies in the universe. If these strong enemies discovered the cloud realm, they might not be able to deal with him, but they might turn around and attack the humans in the cloud realm, causing great casualties to the human race. There's actually such a thing? It seems like the dangers in the universe aren't small. There's always the possibility of extinction. It's like walking on thin ice. Hearing this, Xia Chuanlu was also very emotional. He also understood Xia Ping's thoughts. The entire universe was actually governed by the law of the jungle, where the strong preyed on the weak. The reason why the heavenly realm had not suffered before was because they were lucky enough not to be discovered by other aliens. If they were to be discovered, it would be a calamity. Well, it's not easy for my son to come back. What business are you talking about here? You can't let people eat well. Huang Lanqing glared at Xia Chuanlu fiercely. She then turned to look at Xia Ping and said, Son, you've been out in the universe for so long. You're not young anymore. Do you have any thoughts of getting married? Do you know any female confidantes, the kind that are about to give birth? Hearing this, Xia Ping's mouth twitched. He didn't expect his mother to start forcing him to get married. He said this, Mom, I'm still young. There's no rush. What do you mean I'm not in a hurry? You're not in a hurry, but your mother is. Do you want to wait until your mother passes away before you start looking for her? In the future, the young will have to send the old off. Huang Lanqing's voice rose an octave. Annie Chin's son next door is the same age as you, and Annie Lu's son is even younger than you, but they are all grandmothers. Now their grandchildren can run on the ground. Some of them are about to go to primary school. Do you know that? Look at you. You're so old, almost 30, but you still haven't settled down. You don't even have a wife. How can I meet people in the future? I feel ashamed and ashamed. Of course, if you really don't have a partner, I can introduce a few to you. Any race is fine. They can't wait to marry our Xia family. She wanted to introduce a few blind dates to Xia Ping. There's no emotional basis for marriage. Xia Ping's mouth twitched. What emotional basis? Do you know that love grows with time? Of course, it doesn't matter whether there are feelings or not. Hurry up and give me a few fat grandsons and spread the branches for the Xia family. Huang Lanqing's voice rose. You must have a son. After all, our Xia family still has the throne to inherit. Xia Chuanlu put forward his own opinion. Cough, cough. Xia Ping felt that there was no way to communicate. He coughed and changed the topic. By the way, Dad and Mom, I brought you some gifts this time. They're health supplements. Try them. With a wave of his hand, he immediately took out 2 white porcelain bottles, each containing 3 longevity pills. What's this? Xia Chuanlu took it and opened it. Immediately, he smelled an enchanting fragrance coming from the bottle. It instantly invigorated him, and all the fatigue in his body disappeared. Huang Lanqing was also instantly attracted by these pills. She felt that these pills had an extremely strong attraction to life. Every cell in her body seemed to have the desire to devour them. Eat them, but each person can only eat 3. More is useless. Xia Ping smiled. Hearing this, Xia Chuanlu and Huang Lanqing took the 3 longevity pills, and with a gulp, they swallowed them all at once. Rumble. Immediately, they felt their bodies tremble. A scorching warm current surged through them, spreading to every corner of their bodies. It was as if at this moment their level of life was leaping, constantly rising. Their metabolism was raised to the extreme, and the strength of their lives had reached an unbelievable level. Boom! Chapter 1778. Son, what kind of elixir is this? Xia Chuanlu stared at Xia Ping with widened eyes. Although he was inexperienced, it did not mean that he was stupid. Such a powerful elixir was definitely not as simple as a tonic. Huang Lanxin also looked at Xiaoping. In fact, she also felt that these elixirs were extraordinary, not comparable to any treasure she had seen before. Longevity pill. Taking one can increase one's lifespan by 33,333 years. Taking 3 can increase one's lifespan by 100,000 years. Xiaoping briefly explained the role of these 3 elixirs. What? Xiao Chuanlu stood up from his chair in shock and looked at Xiaoping in disbelief. He stammered, You said that these are longevity pills. Taking 3 can increase one's lifespan by 100,000 years. We have 100,000 years of lifespan, just like that. He couldn't believe what Xiaoping had said. Huang Lanxin was also stunned. She had become an old monster with a lifespan of 100,000 years. This kind of lifespan was beyond imagination. After all, the written history of mankind was only a few thousand years. 100,000 years, that was an epic number. Yes. Xiaoping nodded. Why did you give us such a precious elixir? Did you eat it yourself? Huang Lanxin asked worriedly. Xiaoping laughed. Don't worry, I've already taken it. Each person can only take 3 in a lifetime. It's useless to take more. It's just a waste. Such elixirs that can increase one's lifespan must be very expensive. Xia Chuanlu asked. He felt that things that could increase one's lifespan, no matter where they were placed, were extremely expensive. Immortality was always the eternal topic of life. Of course it's expensive. Even in the universe, this is a rare item. Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouses will snatch it if they know. So this is top secret information that can't be leaked. Otherwise, it may be a disaster. Xiaoping said in a deep voice. I won't say it. I won't say it even if you beat me to death. Hearing this, Xia Chuanlu and Huang Lanxin immediately covered their mouths. They also knew the seriousness of the matter. The ancients had known this truth for thousands of years, not to mention modern people. Once such news was leaked, enemies would flock to them, and it wouldn't be impossible for them to start a massacre. No wonder you want to move the Cloud Realm. If this news is leaked, I'm afraid the enemies from the universe will be terrifying. Xia Chuanlu also understood Xiaoping's concerns. Once the universe's strong enemies knew that Xiaoping had such a treasure, they would be helpless against him. However, they could come to the Cloud Realm and slaughter the human race to make Xiaoping hesitate. Of course, it was also possible that it would not happen. After all, the geographical location of the Cloud Realm was remote. The other party would not be able to find it. However, he couldn't gamble his life and death on the probability that others wouldn't find him. He had to take precautions before doing anything. Is there anything I can help you with? Xia Chuanlu looked at Xiaoping. No, as long as you appease the emotions of the masses. Xiaoping smiled. One day later, outside of the cloud world, Xiaoping and Dumbo stood in the dark true void, looking down at the cloud world. Dumbo, do you have the confidence to fuse this continent into your body? Xiaoping asked. Brother, this land is very unusual. It is not a naturally formed land. If I am not mistaken, it should be a land world formed after a saint died. That is why it contains the rules of a saint, which can suppress the cultivation of cultivators. Dumbo said his guess. I see. Xiaoping was suddenly enlightened. He also understood the uniqueness of the Cloud Realm. There were many terrestrial worlds in the universe, but there were not many terrestrial worlds like the Cloud Realm that could suppress the cultivation of cultivators. Even 1 in 10,000 could not explain its rarity. If this continent was formed after the death of a sage, then it made sense. But if I can fuse with this continent, I can speed up my evolution. I don't know how much time I'll need to become a sage. Dumbo was very excited. This was a fortuitous encounter. Most continents like this were occupied by a certain force. A sage's continent without a master like this could be counted on one hand. If she could fuse with this continent, not only would she be able to fuse with the energy left behind by the sage, but she would also be able to fuse with the sage principles left behind by the sage. That would greatly increase her power and prepare for the sage plane. There's such a thing? That's really great. Xiaoping was also very happy. The stronger Dumbo was, the better it would be for him. He said, but there are still many humans and infrastructure on this continent. I can't devour it directly. Otherwise, it will cause great damage. Moreover, there's a space channel above the cloud world that connects to the ancestral land of the human clan, Yenhuang Star. If I devour this continent, will this space channel disappear? He was worried about this. Don't worry. This continent is actually a space magic weapon. It's integrated and its quality is equivalent to a sage tool. Ordinary forces can't destroy it. It can only be slowly refined. Dumbo said in a deep voice, as for the space channel, it is actually an eternal space node on this magic weapon. Even if I fuse with this continent, this space node will not disappear. It will only be transferred to my body. That's good. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He originally wanted to devour Yenhuang Star, first to avoid the collapse of the space channel. After that, he would never be able to find Yenhuang Star again. But now, listening to Dumbo, there was no need to do so. Moreover, after the cloud world was transferred to Dumbo's body, they could still enter Yenhuang Star through the space channel at any time. It was no different from before. Okay, brother, then I'll do it now. Dumbo rubbed her hands and couldn't wait to devour this sage's continent. Rumble! In an instant, she made a seal with both hands. Immediately, a huge black hole emerged. It was like a huge dark beast. It slowly flew over and wanted to devour the entire continent. At this moment, the entire cloud world fell into a state of darkness. However, because of Xia Chuanliu's help, he used the privilege of the federal president to inform everyone. Therefore, the creatures in the cloud world had long known about this. They did not panic because of losing the sun. However, just as the darkness completely enveloped the cloud realm and the devouring was completed, a vast and boundless force suddenly bombarded from the depths of the cloud realm. Then, an old, dark, and exasperated voice rang out. Stop! Don't! This blow bombarded the dark fog. Suddenly, the devouring power slowed down a lot. It also made Dumbo's body shake. Chapter 1779. Whoosh! A figure immediately appeared in the sky of the cloud world. It was an old man in a black robe, exuding an extremely evil, demonic aura. Without a doubt, this was the heaven-devouring demon Venerable. He had risked his life to break through the seal and condensed a trace of power to project himself. The purpose was to prevent little Dumbo from devouring the entire cloud world and implicating him. Heaven-devouring demon Venerable? Xiaoping squinted his eyes and looked at the black-robed old man. Only now did he realize that the heaven-devouring demon Venerable was not simple. He had reached the saint realm and was unfathomable like an abyss. Moreover, the heaven-devouring demon Venerable was not human. He came from the abyss world and was an abyssal demon. No wonder he had such an evil and ominous aura. At this moment, he also understood why the cloud world was formed by the fall of the saint. This saint probably could not kill the heaven-devouring demon Venerable, so before he died, he used all his power to completely seal the heaven-devouring demon Venerable in his body and suppress it forever. It's you, human? How is it possible? It's only been a few years, and you've reached such a realm? The heaven-devouring demon Venerable also noticed Xiaoping and immediately recognized him. A few years ago, this kid entered the place where he was sealed and started a massacre, destroying his plan. However, this kid was just an ant that did not even open up the purple mansion. In his eyes, this kid was even weaker than an ant. If he was not sealed, he would have killed this kid dozens of times with one look. But after a few years, this human kid had reached the middle stage of the returning nature realm. His strength had increased by leaps and bounds. His body even contained a terrifying magic power that was not inferior to the transcendence realm. He was dumbfounded. Although he knew that humans' cultivation speed was faster than demons from the abyss world, it was not to this extent. It was too exaggerated and too unbelievable. A scholar who has been away for 3 days must be looked at with new eyes. Our speed of evolution is beyond your imagination. How can you demons compare? Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. But since you've been sealed, you should be a coward. Now you want to jump out? Do you want to cause trouble? Brat, don't be too arrogant. I am the heaven-devouring demon venerable. Even a saint has to be respectful to me. How dare you speak to me like this? Devouring heaven demon venerable was so angry that even his beard was curling up. Back then, this fellow was also like this. Who would have thought that after not seeing him for so many years, this fellow had become even worse? If you weren't sealed, perhaps I would still be respectful to you. But a fallen phoenix is no better than a chicken. You've already become like this, so how can I still be respectful to you? Cut the crap. I'll chat with you after I devour the cloud world. Xiaoping waved his hand impatiently. Stop. Hearing this, the heaven-devouring demon venerable became anxious. He recognized Dumbo's original form. It was the famous Gaia. This race was too terrifying. They devoured everything to strengthen themselves. There were too few forces in this world that could kill him, and Gaia was one of them. Once Cloud World was devoured by Gaia, he would also be inside Gaia's body. If that happened, he would not be able to make a comeback. In Gaia's internal space, even if the other party was a god or a saint, he would be quickly refined and become a part of her body. He had no choice but to panic. After all, in order to break free from the seal, he had struggled for millions of years. He leaked his power bit by bit and slowly refined the cloud world, taking it for himself. At that time, not only could he break free from the seal, but he could also take the power of the cloud world for himself. He might even be able to reach a higher level, which was also an important cultivation for him. But now he cannot. Once he was devoured by Gaia, he would be completely finished. This would completely ruin his plan. Who do you think you are? And you think you can stop just because you said so? Xiaoping glanced at him. Heaven-devouring demon venerable was so angry that he wanted to kill this human brat completely. He was the dignified heaven-devouring demon venerable who devoured the heavens and the earth and ran amok in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Who dared to speak to him in such a loud voice and humiliate him? But now that he was sealed, he had no power left in his body. He could not deal with this brat at all. Even his life was in the other party's hands. He had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. He laughed awkwardly and said, "Young friend, my words are indeed a bit rude, but if you stop Gaia from devouring the cloud world, I can give you a great benefit." A great benefit? What benefit? Tell me in detail. Xiaoping raised an eyebrow. I don't know if little friend has heard of the Myriad Heavens fortune diagram. It is a supreme saint artifact created by the invincible saint of good fortune. It is a spatial treasure. Demon Lord Devouring Heaven explained. It is said that this spatial magic treasure is incomparably large, the size of 1,080,000 star regions. There are massive and fertile continents built within, and these continents also have all sorts of treasures left behind by the saint of good fortune. There are even mysteries of becoming a saint within, causing countless cultivators to drool with envy. Oh, Xiaoping listened attentively and did not interrupt Heaven-devouring demon venerable. Heaven-devouring demon venerable sneered inwardly when he saw Xiaoping's interest. This brat finally took the bait. He was still too young. Once he tricked this brat and delayed for a while, he would be able to escape from the cloud world. At that time, he would definitely repay this humiliation 100-fold. But for now, he had to pretend to be a coward. He was a demon venerable, and he could adapt to circumstances. He continued, but after the saint of good fortune perished, this spatial treasure roamed the universe and hid in the depths of the dimensional space. It was invisible and traceless. Even if many saints joined forces, they could not find its whereabouts. Oh, from what you're saying, you can find its whereabouts? Xiaoping asked. Of course I can't find it. Heaven-devouring demon venerable said. But this myriad heavens fortune diagram appears once every 100,000 years. Sometimes it appears in the Eastern universe, and sometimes it appears in the Western universe, the Northern universe, or even the Central universe. Its whereabouts are uncertain. Once it appears, the entire universe's cultivators will be stirred. They will search for the myriad heavens fortune diagram and enter it to find the treasures and secrets of becoming a saint. This is a grand occasion. If you can't find it, what's the use of having you? It seems you're trash. Xiaoping gave him a sidelong glance. This human bastard, heaven-devouring demon venerable, was so angry that he wanted to strangle this brat to death. But he endured it. Although I can't find its whereabouts, I can sense the fluctuations of its birth and accurately locate its location. According to my perception, it will appear soon. If you have my help, you can definitely enter the myriad heavens fortune diagram before others. At that time, you will have the advantage and you will be able to ask for any treasures. As long as you promise not to refine the cloud world, I can help you. At that time, you will occupy all the treasures in the myriad heavens fortune diagram, and becoming a saint will be a piece of cake. He bewitched Xiaoping. Dummy, swallow it. Chapter 1780. Yes, brother. Hearing this, Dumbo nodded and immediately urged Gaia's devouring power to cover the entire cloud world. A black cloud covered the whole cloud world and penetrated every nook and cranny. Stop right now. Human boy, don't you want to know the location of the fortune map of heavens? It's the hope of becoming a sage. Don't you want to be a sage and live forever? Heaven-devouring demon venerable shouted in horror. Idiot, Xiaoping said disdainfully. You've been sealed for millions of years. What's wrong with going in earlier or later? Real treasures can't be obtained by going in earlier. You can't keep them if you don't have the strength. You think you can bewitch me with this? You're delusional. After Gaia devours you, won't everything you have belong to me, including your memories? Damn you, lowly human. It's not that easy to devour me. I won't let you succeed. Heaven-devouring demon venerable was so angry that he roared. At this moment, a terrifying demonic power was brewing in the depths of the cloud mountain. It was extremely dark, as if it was the filth and sin from the deepest part of the abyss world. This was the demonic power that heaven-devouring demon venerable had accumulated for millions of years. It was originally meant to refine the cloud world, but now it wanted to kill Xiaoping and Dumbo in order to survive. You still want to struggle? Dumbo, let me help you. Xiaoping sneered. He operated his magic power. The 9 primordial spirits on his body vibrated. The violent magic power was like a long river, instantly instilling into Gaia. Suddenly, Dumbo's aura increased more than 10 times, as if she had eaten a great tonic. The terrifying power of the void gushed out from her body. Whoosh! In an instant, she devoured the entire cloud world and entered the world inside her body. In a split second, heaven-devouring demon Venerable launched a desperate attack and bombarded Dumbo's body. But it was too late. The space inside Gaia's body was extremely solid. Even a sage could not break it, let alone the power of a sealed demon Venerable. It was simply wishful thinking to hurt Dumbo. Dong! This dark energy bombarded the space within his body, creating loud, banging sounds. It was like a hammer knocking on a titanium alloy door, creating a huge tremor. However, it was unable to break through. Suppress. Little Dumbo was expressionless. She formed a seal with both hands, and the power of law in her body burst out, turning into many chains of order, locking the cloud world in an instant. Bang! With just one strike, the body of the devouring heaven demon Venerable was instantly pierced through. Even the formless chains of order passed through the seals and restrictions and instantly pierced through his body, tying him up and adding another layer of seals. Ah! Bastard human! Gaia, I, the heaven-devouring demon lord, will never let you off. Don't let me escape, or you'll all die. I'll kill your entire family and wipe out your entire sect. The devouring heaven demon, Venerable, let out a furious roar like an injured wild beast. His resentment was at its peak. Demonic chi rushed into the heavens and shook the void. He had never suffered such a great loss in his entire life. You don't have a chance. Extract and devour. Upon hearing these words, Dumbo formed a seal with both hands. Suddenly, Gaia rules penetrated the devouring sky demon Venerable's body one after another like demonic vines, penetrating deep into its soul. Whoosh! Suddenly, these Gaia rules produced a terrifying devouring power, frantically extracting and plundering the devouring sky demon Venerable's magic power, primordial spirit, power of law, and other powers. The body of the devouring sky demon Venerable was also rapidly withering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Its body, which had never weakened after being sealed for millions of years, was actually weakening at this moment. Its life essence and energy were rapidly disappearing. At this moment, it was finally terrified. Even when it was sealed by the sage, it was not so terrified because it knew that this was just a seal. Sooner or later, it would regain its freedom. But now it was different. It would die. Even if it was a sage or a demon Venerable, they would still feel endless fear in the face of death. Stop, stop, spare me, spare me. The devouring sky demon Venerable begged, hoping to spare its life. But Dumbo did not care at all. It was still slowly extracting the life energy of the devouring sky demon Venerable, extracting the power of law in its body. At the same time, the Gaia space also underwent earth-shattering changes. At this moment, it no longer looked like a planet. Instead, it had turned into a cosmic space with nothingness everywhere. The original Gaia planet had turned into a continent, and the cloud realm had also entered it, belonging to another continent. The two continents floated in this huge space of nothingness. Even the Gaia space in her body had more and more sage laws, which also made the space more stable. It was even filled with a trace of the aura of a sage. It was extraordinary and holy. Dumbo, are you going to evolve? Xiao Ping, who was next to her, immediately sensed the change in Dumbo's aura. It seemed that it was going to surpass this space, exuding the aura of a sage. It was extremely tyrannical and surpassed everything. Not yet, but soon. After refining the cloud realm and this devouring sky demon Venerable, I can really step into the saint realm, said Dumbo. There's such a thing? That's great. Xiao Ping was very excited. He originally wanted Dumbo to evolve into the saint realm, but he did not know how long it would take. Maybe when he broke through, Dumbo might not be able to advance into the saint realm. But now it was different. She first devoured a continent that was condensed from the corpse of a sage, which contained the essence of a sage, and gained great benefits. Now, she even suppressed a demon Venerable, and it was not an ordinary demon Venerable. Even among the many sages, the devouring sky demon Venerable was considered an extremely powerful existence. The life essence and power of laws contained in such a sage's body were simply beyond imagination. For Dumbo, it was a super tonic and supreme elixir. To be able to suppress a sage like this, easily extracting the other party's primordial spirit, laws, energy, and so on, was simply rare in the world. It was a miracle that had never been seen since ancient times. Suddenly, Xiao Ping felt a wave of extremely pure energy coming from Dumbo's body. This was the wisp of life essence produced by Dumbo when she refined the devouring sky demon Venerable. Because of the contract, she also transferred this excess energy to him. Even if it was only a little, it was still a majestic energy for him. Whoosh, he felt the 9 primordial spirits in his body were cheering and jumping, greedily devouring this pure energy. Then Xiao Ping felt the energy of his 9 primordial spirits was rising, leaping, and constantly leaping, growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even the 9 purple mansions in his body were filled with a huge amount of mana. In a few breaths, the purple mansion space was filled with mana, almost reaching the realm of perfection. The peak of the middle stage of returning nature realm. Chapter 1781. I'm about to break through. Xiao Ping felt that his mana was surging. Even though he had 9 primordial spirits and needed to devour an endless amount of energy, the energy from Dumbo could still fill it all and even exceed it by quite a bit. However, he still resisted the urge to break through to the late stage of returning nature realm because he wanted to achieve perfection in every realm. If he broke through now, it would cause a situation where his foundation was not solid. Therefore, he forcibly suppressed it and stabilized it at the peak of the middle stage of returning nature realm. Most of the energy was stored in the depths of the Dantian's sea of qi. It would not be too late to use it when he broke through. Brother. Dumbo blinked and looked at Xiaoping next to him. What do you feel now? Xiaoping asked. I feel very hungry. I need to devour a lot of planets. The space in my body needs a huge amount of material to fill it. Dumbo had just laughed at some sage energy and obtained the law in the sage's body, which made the Gaia space change dramatically. Although the Gaia space was stronger and stronger, it still needed a lot of material to replenish it. It's okay. There's not much here except for the planets. Hearing this, Xiaoping suddenly smiled. This was a remote star field with countless uninhabited planets and resource planets. At the same time, he had also set up the Skynet system in this place. It was a good opportunity for Dumbo to devour the sun and many planets and put them in the Gaia space. After all, the Skynet system originally existed to protect the Cloud Realm. Now that the Cloud Realm had disappeared, the Skynet system naturally could not be left outside. It would be too wasteful. Okay, brother. Gaia nodded Dumbo. A month later, Xiaoping led Gaia Dumbo and drove the stars to devour planets everywhere. They moved hundreds of thousands of resource planets into the Gaia space, completely crushed them, and then reformed them into continents. The sun above the Cloud Realm was also devoured and moved in as the main energy source to illuminate the Gaia space, illuminating every corner of the Gaia space. Because of the devouring of a large number of planets, there were a total of 9 continents in the Gaia space, including the original Gaia continent and the Cloud continent. The area of these continents had also become huge. Each continent was at least 3 light years wide. It was vast and boundless. Even the land area of the Cloud continent had increased by more than 100 times. At the same time, the law that restricted the cultivation in the Cloud Realm had been lifted, allowing unlimited cultivation. The Skynet system was also set up in the Gaia space. However, up until now, only Gaia continent and Cloud continent had people. The rest of the continents were uninhabited. Only a large number of lush plants grew on them. Many humans in the Cloud Realm also discovered that the Cloud Realm had undergone earth-shattering changes. What's going on? In just one night, the Cloud Realm has undergone such a huge change. It seems like the land and the sea have all changed and increased by more than 100 times. Someone discovered that the Cloud Realm was unusually large. That's right. The spiritual energy in the Cloud Realm is 100 times denser than before. There are even mountains and rivers. It's vast and boundless. I remember when I woke up the next day, I found out that a 1,000-meter-tall mountain had appeared in front of my house. It was so tall that it reached the clouds. I was dumbfounded and didn't know what to do. That's nothing. When I woke up in Lianyun City, the east and west sides of the city were separated into 2 halves. I didn't know when a huge river had appeared in the middle, spanning several kilometers and flowing endlessly. At that time, I had to take a boat to get to work. I don't know if everyone has noticed, but cultivating seems to be a lot easier than before. The bottleneck that troubled me in the past suddenly became clear, and my physical fitness is improving at a speed visible to the naked eye. That's right. Could it be that the Cloud Realm is experiencing another catastrophe from 1,000 years ago? That's impossible. I've observed the monsters and plants in the Cloud Realm. Although they grow very fast, it's not as exaggerated as 1,000 years ago. Not to mention, humans are different now. That's right. Even if there's another catastrophe, it won't be able to do anything to us humans. Everyone was discussing on the internet, guessing what had happened in the Cloud Realm recently. Although they were told by the government that there might be some changes in the Cloud Realm recently, they didn't need to panic. However, they didn't know what the changes were exactly. At that moment, the Federation government immediately came out to inform everyone, please rest assured. This isn't a sign of the early stages of the catastrophe. It's our invincible king, Xiaoping, who moved the Cloud Realm to a different dimension. Cultivating in this place will be more than 10 times more efficient than cultivating in the Cloud Realm. There will even be a large number of precious spirit herbs growing. This will be a golden age for us humans. What? Hearing the government's announcement, Every human, including the Oceanic clan and the Demon clan, was shocked. No way, this is Master Xia's doing. This is too exaggerated. What kind of mighty power is this? It can actually move a continent into a dimensional space. It's unimaginable and unheard of. Is this the work of an invincible king? No, no, no. An invincible king can't do this at all. This is the real power of grabbing the stars and grabbing the moon. Even ancient saints can't do this. Moving a continent is as easy as eating and drinking. I guess Master Xia's martial arts cultivation has long surpassed the invincible king and reached a level that ordinary people can't imagine. That's why he can do such an incredible thing. If it's Master Xia's doing, then it won't be a big problem. This will be the golden age for us humans. Everyone was extremely excited. They suddenly realized why the Federation government was so confident. It turned out that this was the plan of the higher-ups. However, for the Oceanic clan and the Demon clan, it wasn't so wonderful. Are you kidding me? Moving the Cloud Realm into a different dimension? Even a demon saint is nothing. We haven't seen each other for a few years. Why is this human Xiaoping so strong? It's normal. You should have logged into the virtual network and know that Xiaoping has become a disciple of the Heaven and Earth Sect Saint. He has boundless power, countless treasures, and profound magic power. We can't compare to him. Sigh, the more we know, the more fear we have. I'm afraid this is the reason why humans let us use the virtual network. They want us to know what fear is. There's no chance to turn the tables. Everyone should be honest and integrate into human society. Otherwise, if the human race gets angry, there will be no place for the Oceanic clan and the Demon clan in the Cloud Realm. Times have changed. Chapter 1782. Another day had passed. In a quiet room in the Gaia space, Xiaoping sat cross-legged, running his qigong and mobilizing his spiritual power. He slowly tempered his body, sharpened his spirit, and polished his martial arts foundation until it reached perfection. Phew! After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoping opened his eyes and let out a deep breath. This breath of white energy was like a rainbow, condensing in the air without dissipating, creating a miraculous scene. After this cultivation, he had benefited a lot. He estimated that he would be able to break through after a period of training. Little Dumbo has gained great benefits. Xiaoping could sense the situation in Little Dumbo's body. Originally, the Gaia space was filled with many laws, but they were only ordinary laws. They could not break through the mortal realm. However, after devouring the Cloud Realm and the energy, spirit, and laws in the body of the devouring heaven demon Venerable, Little Dumbo's cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. The Gaia space had also undergone earth-shaking changes. First of all, the laws of heaven and earth in the Gaia space had undergone great changes. It seemed to have integrated with the laws of heaven and earth of the Cloud Realm, making this space extremely solid. Vaguely, the entire world exuded the aura of the Saint Realm, as if it was independent of the universe. Feeling the aura of these laws, Xiaoping felt that his understanding of martial arts had become more profound. It seemed that a lot of heavenly path information was instilled into his mind. Beep beep, at this moment, Xiaoping's communicator rang. He looked at it and saw that it was his father, Xia Chuanliu. He did not hesitate and immediately answered. Immediately, Xia Chuanliu's virtual projection appeared in front of Xiaoping, but his face was solemn at this moment. He said, "My son is in big trouble. There is something wrong with planet Yanwang." Huh? What's the problem? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. Aliens are coming. They are only a dozen light years away from planet Yanwang. They will arrive soon, Xia Chuanliu said solemnly. Aliens? Xiaoping frowned. To be honest, he did not know where planet Yanwang was. Was it the Eastern Universe, the Western Universe, the Northern Universe, or the Southern Universe? He had not carefully investigated the specific location of planet Yanwang before. After all, planet Yanwang had always been relatively safe, and no aliens had ever arrived. He did not expect that there would be aliens arriving now. Yes, I'm afraid that the other party has come with ill intentions. Some of the detectors we placed on the satellites have been destroyed by the other party's weapons, blocking our detection of them. Xia Chuanlu continued. Although the other party only has a warship, it gives off an incomparably dangerous feeling. It is more than 10 times more dangerous than the previous time when the Red Scarf Bandits attacked. Take me there, Xia Ping immediately said. He wanted to see the group of attacking aliens. And by the way, he can find out which region of the universe Yanhuang planet is located in from these aliens. After saying that, he immediately set off for planet Yanhuang. At this moment, dozens of light years away from Yanhuang planet, a black battleship was sailing. This battleship didn't seem to be in a good state. It was dilapidated and had many holes. There were many shocking scars on it, as if it had gone through a bitter battle. Even so, the battleship was still able to sail, and the scars on its surface radiated an aura of savagery and bitterness that made it seem like some primeval beast that existed in the dark true void. In fact, this was the case. The crew members on the battleship were all powerful, and there were thousands of them. They were at least at the Golden Core realm, and most of them were at the Returning Truth realm. The captain of this battleship was a Transcendence realm powerhouse. No matter where this power was, it would be a terrifying force that could destroy countless primitive planets. These crew members all wore white robes with the words Yuan Ming Sect engraved on their backs, showing that they came from the same force and were well trained. Eldama Gubwa, our luck is really good. I didn't expect to pass through the space storm and reach this storm-forbidden zone without dying. If we go back to the Yuan Ming Sect, we will definitely brag about it. One of the crew members sighed. Our luck is really heaven-defying. We passed through the space storm and didn't die. Only the battleship was damaged. This is simply unheard of. Not many people have such luck. The one who spoke was the captain, Magubwa. He was also very glad that he was still alive. Elder Ma, this place seems to be filled with mysterious restrictive powers. We can't connect to the universe virtual network or the outside world at all, a crew member said disappointedly. If they could communicate with the outside world, they would immediately be able to get people from the sect to come and rescue them. We have no choice. This is a forbidden zone after all, surrounded by the space storm. We are already lucky to be alive. We can't ask for too much. Ma Gubo waved his hand. Elder, there was a space probe that was scanning our ship just now. However, it was instantly destroyed by our weapon system. However, that scanning device seems to be very outdated. I reckon that the other party's technology level isn't high. A crew member said, There's such a thing? Very good, very good. Having a probe means that there are aboriginals here. This place isn't a barren land. Moreover, if the technology level isn't high, it means that the other party is very weak. We could defeat those aboriginals at any time and plunder large amounts of resources to repair the battleship. Hearing this news, Magubwa's eyes instantly lit up and revealed a greedy look. Elder, don't we need to be more cautious? After all, this is the storm-forbidden zone. No one knows what will happen. A crew member said cautiously. He felt that the first thing to do when coming to a foreign place was to be cautious and not act rashly. What's there to be afraid of? Magubwa waved his hand. In a place like this, what kind of power can there be? I can easily slap the aboriginals of a planet to death. Moreover, everyone is thirsty and tired. Don't you want to find a place to stop and enjoy? Hearing this, many crew members nodded. They had just experienced a life and death situation. The resources on the battleship were mostly lost. If they couldn't find resources to replenish them, they would probably starve to death in the universe. No matter what, they needed to find a life planet to replenish themselves. And if they wanted to leave this storm-forbidden zone, they also needed to find a place to repair the battleship. Convey my orders. Immediately head to the aboriginal planet that sent the signal. Start a war and enslave those stupid aboriginals. Magubwa immediately gave the order. Yes, Elder. Many of the crew members were incomparably excited. They couldn't wait. So, Chapter 1783. Half a day later, the black battleship finally arrived at planet Yanhuang. A bunch of natives indeed. They don't even have the power to defend themselves. Inside the battleship, a disciple of the Yuanming sect laughed out loud in excitement. This meant that these natives had no power to stop them and could only be enslaved by them. As I expected, the strongest cultivator on this planet is only at the transcendent realm. This bit of strength is enough to dominate a native planet, but they're just ants in the universe. Makgubwa scanned with his divine sense, instantly covering the entire planet. He sensed the cultivation of all living beings on planet Yanhuang and discovered that there were only a few dozen transcendent realm cultivators. The rest could be ignored. Immediately, he was disdainful and had a condescending attitude. That's to be expected. If Elder Ma appears before them, they'll probably revere him like a god. They've never seen such terrifying power in their lives. A disciple of the Yuanming sect immediately went up to flatter him. Look at who Elder Ma is. He's a Dharma plain almighty. If he's lucky, it's not impossible for him to become a sage. How can a bunch of natives compare? Another disciple of the Yuanming sect did not want to be outdone and went up to flatter him. You're too kind. Ma Gubwa felt very comfortable being flattered. He waved his hand and said humbly, I don't dare to hope to become a sage. I just have some hope. I'll be satisfied if I can become a Thunder Tribulation Almighty and gain a lifespan of tens of thousands of years. Although that was what he said, he also wanted to become a sage, so he looked very confident. Eldama, what should we do now? Those natives seem to be coming over in spaceships. Do they still want to resist? A disciple of the Yuanming sect noticed that the humans on planet Yanhuang had made a defensive move, sending over a dozen spaceships to attack them. They seem to be surrounding them aggressively. Enter this native planet. If they want to surround us, let them. They might not even know who they're surrounding. Magub was sneered. He was a Dharma plain almighty, able to smash this planet into pieces with a slap. How could he be afraid of being surrounded by a bunch of natives? Whoosh! Immediately, the black battleship entered Yanhuang planet and flew in midair. Then, more than a dozen battleships flew out from Yanhuang planet and quickly surrounded the black battleship. Head out and fight it out with these natives. Don't let their scrap metal damage our warship. If that happens, it'll be troublesome to repair it. Makgubwa waved his hand, getting the many Yuanming sect disciples to leave the warship and fight the enemies. In reality, the Yuanming sect disciples were the ones with the greatest battle prowess. As for this black battleship, it was merely a means of transportation. How could its threat compare to cultivators like them, who were comparable to super creatures? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Very soon, hundreds of people flew out from the black battleship, including the Captain Magubwa. They stood in midair, emitting a terrifying aura that suppressed the planet. At this moment, the entire Yanhuang planet seemed to be trembling, as if it could not withstand their pressure. Even the earth made cracking sounds, and cracks appeared on it. Who are you people? Don't you know that this is Yanhuang planet's territory? If you barge in without submitting an entry application, we have the right to treat you as invaders and kill you. A group of Yanhuang planet divinity realm martial artists appeared in front of these extraterrestrials. They could naturally sense the strength of this group of extraterrestrials, which far exceeded the divinity realm. However, Xiaoping was also here to hold the line, so they were fearless and immediately shouted. This group of natives actually knows how to speak the universal common language? Seems like there's something wrong with this place. Perhaps it's not isolated from the world. One of Yuanming's sect disciples was shocked. He had thought that it would be very difficult to communicate with them. Isn't it good that they know how to speak the universal common language? If they're illiterate and don't know anything, that'll be troublesome. Even if we kill these natives, they won't understand our intentions. We can capture them alive and use them as our slaves. We'll enslave them day and night. Another Yuanming sect disciple sneered. This group of natives is laughable. They want us to submit an entry application. Who do they think they are? They're just a bunch of natives without even a golden core realm venerable, and yet they dare to clamor here. The ignorant are truly fearless. Many of the Yuanming sect disciples wanted to laugh when they heard this. A bunch of puny natives had the guts to ask for entry applications from them, and even wanted to kill them. What a joke. This was like a group of ants threatening a tiger. They didn't even know how strong they were. Natives, listen up. One of the Yuan Ming sect's disciples stepped forward and bellowed. We've taken over this planet. From today onward, we're the masters of this planet. As for you natives, you'll be slaves, lowly slaves. You won't have any freedom. If we want you to die, you'll have to die. If we want you to live, you won't be allowed to die. Of course, you can resist, but you'll have to think about the consequences. We'll kill your entire family and wipe out your entire clan. We'll wipe you out, leaving nothing behind. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking arrogantly at the Yin Huang planet humans with disdain. You sure talk big. At that moment, Xiaoping stood out. His gaze was calm as he swept his gaze across the group. This is Yin Huang planet, not a place where you aliens can behave atrociously. If you dare to act recklessly, you'll have to die. There's actually a returning truth realm cultivator here. His cultivation level far exceeds this planet's. I didn't sense anything just now. What method did you use to hide from my senses? Ma Gubo exclaimed. He was shocked to discover that Xiaoping's cultivation had reached the middle stage of returning truth realm. He was above most of the Yuan Ming sect disciples, and his dermic powers were unbelievably dense. Logically speaking, he was a Dharma characteristic mighty. His essence spirit was extremely powerful and could see through the void. A mere returning Truth Realm Junior shouldn't have been able to hide from his senses. Many of the Yuan Ming sect disciples were shocked as well. They could look down on Divine Power Realm natives, but not returning Truth Realm natives. With such strength, he would be a top-notch expert, even in the universe. There's no method. You're just too weak, so you can't sense my presence. Xiaoping said honestly. Arrogant. Hearing that, Ma Gubwa snorted coldly. Ignorant native. It seems like you've been on this planet for too long. You don't know how big the universe is and how many experts there are. A mere returning Truth Realm Junior might be able to act fiercely and be invincible on this planet. But in my eyes, you're nothing more than an ant. Kneel before me. Chapter 1784. Dharma Plane, and you dare to be arrogant with me? Go and die. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He suddenly attacked and punched out. Martial Path Mystique, Lightning Fist. He circulated the chaotic lightning technique, and violent lightning energy surged out of his body and quickly condensed on his fist. Countless lightning runes gathered together and formed a large array. In an instant, the fist pierced out and turned into a bolt of purple lightning. It seemed to pierce through the void and shot out at lightning speed, containing endless killing intent. Dong! Ma Gubwa's heaven and earth Dharma idol was immediately pierced through, and the entire mountain was torn apart. He let out a miserable shriek like a pig being slaughtered. He felt tens of thousands of lightning bolts invading his body and destroying it crazily. The lightning swam around like lightning snakes and numbed his body. He couldn't even use his spiritual power. Impossible? Just one punch, and he destroyed my Dharma form. This is just a returning Truth Realm Junior. Is he still human? Impossible. How could this happen? Ma Gubwa broke down, and his worldview was destroyed. This was beyond his imagination. The native in front of him was only at the middle stage of the returning Truth Realm. He was a Dharma plane cultivator with unfathomable spiritual power. Logically speaking, he should be able to kill him with one palm. But now, the situation was reversed. He wasn't a match for this returning Truth Realm native. The Dharma form that he was so proud of was destroyed with one punch. He couldn't accept this fact at all. Bang! Xiaoping slapped Ma Gubwa's body from the sky like a giant's palm. Immediately, his body fell from the sky like a cannonball. Ma Gubwa let out a blood-curdling screech, unable to resist at all. His entire body slammed heavily into the ground, immediately creating a deep crater with a diameter of more than 10 kilometers. Dense cracks appeared everywhere, like spiderwebs. His body was also filled with lightning energy. Lightning constantly swam around and charred his body. Every strand of hair on his head stood up. He suddenly found that his spiritual power had completely collapsed. His body was numb, and he couldn't move. He lay on the ground like a turtle and felt extremely humiliated. Dong! Xiaoping landed lightly, and stepped on his head. He looked down from above and said, "Don't you know how high the sky is?" It was the one who didn't know their place. "You want to behave atrociously in front of me when you're only at the Transcendence realm? Do you think you're qualified?" Damned aboriginal. I'm an elder of the Yuan Ming sect. If you dare to offend me, the Yuan Ming sect will definitely not let you off." Ma Gubo roared, trying to use his background to threaten Xiaoping. He said that he was someone with a powerful background and was not someone a small native like him could kill. Otherwise, he would definitely be enraged, causing the heavens and earth to flip and the mountains to shake. He felt extremely aggrieved and humiliated. He was an elder of the Yuan Ming sect, a Dharma characteristic mighty. Now, he was being trampled on like a tortoise. He was filled with hatred. However, the strength of this indigenous being was way too horrifying. It wasn't something that he could compare with at all. "Stop, native! How dare you touch an elder of my Yuan Ming sect? Are you tired of living? Attack! Stop this native and save Elder Ma." When the hundreds of Yuan Ming sect disciples in the sky saw the state Ma Gubwa was in, their expressions changed drastically. They immediately charged forward in an attempt to rescue Ma Gubwa. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. One by one, the Yuan Ming sect disciples unleashed all their techniques, bursting forth with all their dermic powers. Rays of mystical light descended from the sky like raindrops, covering a wide area and containing terrifying destructive power. When the surrounding planet Yin Huang martial artists saw this, their expressions changed drastically. This group of aliens was unscrupulous. Although such attacks might not be able to hurt Xiaoping, if they were to hit planet Yin Huang, it would definitely cause the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. The entire planet might even be destroyed. At the very least, planet Yin Huang would suffer heavy losses. After all, this planet was still too fragile. "I seal." Xiaoping looked up, waved his hand, and circulated the 9 heavens mysterious underworld force in his body. This was an ultimate ice-type cultivation technique that he had obtained from the Minghua Pavilion. It contained an unparalleled power of ice. Previously, he had obtained a large number of mysterious underworld stones from the Ice Demon Saint. After devouring and digesting them, the power of the 9 heavens mysterious underworld force increased by more than 10 times. Therefore, the moment he made his move, he froze 3,000 miles, almost reaching the temperature of absolute zero. Dong! In an instant, the hundreds of Yuan Ming sect disciples felt an endless chill rising in their surroundings. A cold current permeated the void, as though even space itself was being frozen. Before they could think of anything, their entire bodies were frozen, and even their thoughts stopped. The martial path mystiques that they had sent out were instantly crushed as well. Pa pa pa. In the next second, these Yuan Ming sect disciples were turned into ice sculptures, falling from the sky like dumplings. They smashed hard onto the ground, creating deep pits. How could this be? This is bad. This aboriginal is too strong. Hurry up and run. F*CK. This is a tiger's den. Even Elder Ma has fallen. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Don't stay on this aboriginal planet. This aboriginal is too terrifying. Hurry up and run. When the group of Yuan Ming sect disciples on the black battleship saw this scene, all of them panicked and were terrified. They did not dare to say anything and immediately activated the spaceship, fleeing into the distance. This bunch of disloyal ** stars. At the sight of this, Ma Gubwa was infuriated. Earlier on, this group of Yuan Ming sect disciples had been so righteous, wanting to live and die with him. But at the critical moment, they had fled. When they encountered danger, they ran faster than anyone else. No one cared about his life or death. Trying to escape, Xiaoping did not even look as he slashed out with his claw. Immediately, endless spiritual power gathered. It was as though a golden crow of hell had appeared in the void. A huge, dark golden claw reached out from the void, tearing through space. There were many golden crow of hell, runes engraved on it like many scriptures. Before the black battleship could leave planet Yin Huang, just as it reached the atmospheric layer, the huge, dark golden claw grabbed the black battleship like an eagle grabbing a chick. No matter how hard the black battleship tried, it could not move at all. Dong! The huge claw squeezed gently, and the black battleship was crushed like a watermelon. Some of the Yuan Ming sect disciples inside let out tragic cries as their bodies were crushed, turning into a bloody mist. There were also some lucky Yuan Ming sect disciples who were not crushed. However, they were also screaming as they flew out from the shattered black battleship, all of them heavily injured. Capture them and lock them up for interrogation. Xiaoping waved his hand and gave orders to the cultivators beside him, getting them to capture all these heavily injured extraterrestrials. Right now, these extraterrestrials had been heavily injured by him and could not muster up any strength at all. Yes, Lord Xia. Chapter 1785. Planet Yinhuang, a prison. At this moment, all the Yuanming sect disciples, including Ma Gubwa, were captured alive. Their bodies were shackled, and they wore white prison clothes that were stained with blood. They knelt on the ground and looked like prisoners. They were filled with regret. If they had known that these natives were so fierce and that there was such a fierce person, they would not have invaded this planet. But who would have thought that a native at the returning nature realm could easily beat Ma Gubwa into such a state? He was unable to fight back at all. This was too exaggerated. Could it be that Elder Ma was a fake and that he could advance to the transcendence realm by eating pills all over his body? Many Yuanming sect disciples looked at Ma Gubwa suspiciously, thinking that he might be a fake. In reality, if Ma Gubwa had not been defeated so badly, they would not have ended up like this. Seeing the looks of disdain from so many disciples, Ma Gubwa also felt very wronged. He wanted to shout that he was not a fake and was a true Transcendence Realm cultivator. It was just that this native was too sick. But he was too embarrassed to say these words. Even if he said it, people would only think it was an excuse. Looks like you are disciples of the Northern Universe Yuanming sect. After some investigation, Xiaoping finally knew what sect the Yuanming sect was. It was a saint-class sect in the Northern Universe. It was said that the disciples of this sect were fierce and powerful. Many bandits in the universe had come from the Yuanming sect. Some people said that the Yuanming sect was a bandit nest that nurtured countless universe bandits. They often used war to fight and plunder the resources of the universe to support the Yuanming sect. But they all announced to the outside world that the universe bandits were disciples who had betrayed the Yuanming sect and had been expelled from the sect. Therefore, no faction could do anything to them, and they could not find evidence of them colluding. But this was not the main point. The main point was that he finally knew where planet Yinhuang was. It was in the Northern Universe, who knew how far away it was from the Cloud Realm. You actually know about the Northern Universe. Looks like you're not natives. You should be connected to the universe. What faction are you? Hearing this, Ma Gubwa and the others were shocked. It was impossible for real natives to know the distribution of the various factions in the universe. They also could not know the name of the Yuanming sect and know that it was a sect in the Northern Universe. However, they soon felt that this was a matter of course. After all, how could a native defeat the elite disciples of saint-class sects? Shut up. You are our prisoners. Only you have the right to answer, not the right to ask questions. A Yinhuang Star martial artist scolded the group of prisoners. Tell us the truth right now. Where did you come from? What is your purpose in coming to this place? Otherwise, I will let you taste the pain of living a life worse than death. The other Yinhuang Star martial artist clenched his fists and looked very fierce. Humph. Ma Gubwa let out a cold snort. Don't threaten me. It's useless. I'm an elder of the Yuanming sect, and my loyalty is unparalleled. No matter how many ways or how many terrifying tortures you guys use on me, I won't even frown, nor will I reveal any information. I'll definitely not betray the Yuanming sect. He put on an unyielding look and did not intend to compromise at all. Hearing this, many disciples of the Yuanming sect were impressed. Although Elder Ma was a fake, his character was still top-notch. He was trustworthy and was definitely a pillar of the sect. Even at such a time, he was still resisting and did not betray them at all. This was rare in the world. To be honest, after being captured by this group of natives, they were all disheartened. This was because they could not escape at all, and there was no help from the sect. If they did not surrender, they would die. You have a backbone. You're unyielding. Xiaoping raised his brows. Don't worry. I'm a very kind person. I won't do things like torture and immoral things. You'll take the initiative to confess soon. Take the initiative to confess? What kind of joke is this? Who do you think Ma Gubwa am? Ma Gubwa let out a cold laugh, feeling that this native was talking in his sleep. However, all of a sudden, he realized that the native in front of him was forming seals with both hands. Golden light radiated from his body, and faint shadows of Buddhas appeared behind him. Sanskrit chants came from the depths of the void. Many phenomena also appeared around this native. Golden lotuses appeared on the ground, and Buddhist light shone. It was as if a Buddha had descended from the void, holding an orchid in his hand and looking benevolent. Suddenly, he felt his mind go into a trance. It was as if he had fallen into the state of Buddha chanting sutras, and there were signs of enlightenment. However, Ma Gubwa was a Dharma-characteristic realm expert after all. His spiritual will was extremely strong, and a warning sign surged from the depths of his soul. He woke up in an instant and broke away from the illusion. He looked at Xiaoping with an extremely horrified expression. Impossible. This is the expiation voice, the decadent voice of Buddha. It's a secret of the Buddhist sects, the supreme mystery of the expiation scripture. How do you know it? Could it be that you're from the Buddhist sects? It won't be too late to tell you after I expiate you. Xiaoping smiled. However, in Ma Gubwa's eyes, it was simply a devilish smile. He said in horror, "Stop, damn native, stop immediately. How dare you use the expiation scripture to expiate me? Do you know that this is a taboo in the universe? Once it's discovered, you'll immediately become the target of everyone and be hunted down by many forces. There'll be no place for you in the universe." He was extremely terrified, and he was no longer as arrogant and tough as before. Instead, he was filled with fear. He was not afraid of death. However, what he was most afraid of was living a life worse than death. Once he was expiated, Ma Gubwa would completely lose himself and become a puppet. He wouldn't even know who he was, and he would be enslaved forever. Even if the other party wanted him to kill his entire family and friends, he wouldn't hesitate. He would only feel that it was a matter of course, and he would feel supreme glory. Xiaoping did not say anything. He stretched out his finger and tapped lightly. Immediately, a branch of the world tree appeared from the void. With a poof, it instantly pierced through Ma Gubwa's essence soul defense and reached the depths of his soul. In the eyes of the world tree, the so-called essence soul barrier was simply no different from tofu. Immediately, Ma Gubwa felt his consciousness blur. He felt that his mind was filled with Buddhist runes and thousands of Buddhas were knocking on a wooden fish. Sounds of Sanskrit rang out. "Stop, stop immediately. I surrender, I surrender. I'll say whatever you want me to say. I'll tell you everything I know." Ma Gubwa shouted in horror. His psychological defenses had completely collapsed, and he no longer dared to be arrogant. Compared to being expiated and becoming a puppet, surrendering and betraying the sect were nothing. When the time came, he would become a puppet that had lost himself. That would truly be a fate worse than death. Chapter 1786. Surrender? The Yuanming sect disciples at the side were dumbfounded. Ma Gubwa was clearly unyielding and looked like he would never surrender. Why did he surrender in the blink of an eye? His attitude changed too quickly. Didn't /T he need some preparation? F*CK. This fake Elder Ma was indeed unreliable. To think that they had worshipped him a little before, thinking that Ma Gubwa might be a righteous and unyielding man, who knew that he would turn out to be like this, surrendering faster than anyone else, a complete traitor. The group of Yuanming sect disciples looked at Ma Gubwa with even more disdain. Of course, they did not know the power of the Expiation Sutra. After all, it was a top secret of the Buddhist sects, and it had not appeared in the world for a long time. Ordinary people had not seen the power of the Expiation Sutra. At the same time, it was extremely difficult to successfully cultivate the Expiation Sutra. Even the eminent monks of the Buddhist sects did not know much about it. Even if they did, its power would be ordinary and nothing to be afraid of. As time passed, not many people knew about it. Only a Dharma-characteristic realm mighty figure like Ma Gubwa had the time to understand the secrets of the universe and search for secret information. That was why he knew how powerful the Expiation Sutra was. He was immediately frightened by Xiaoping and was at a loss. Surrender? S too late. Upon hearing this, how could Xiaoping let go at this moment? He was not a fool. How could a surrendered Ma Gubwa compare to a loyal Ma Gubwa who had been expiated? After expiating Ma Gubwa, he would be one of them, and he could make him say whatever he wanted. Why should he let him go and cause huge trouble for himself in the future? No, no, no. Devil, you /Ria devil. No, I don't /T want to be expiated. Don /T expiate me. Ma Gubwa shrieked. However, after a while, as the power of the Expiation Sutra surged continuously, a golden energy filled the depths of his brain and slowly condensed into a Buddhist seed. Immediately, the ferocity, fear, uneasiness, and fear on his face disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by calmness, peace, and kindness, as if he was an eminent monk who had attained the Tao. Fellow Taoist Ma, wake up! With a snap, Xiaoping snapped his fingers, and a crisp sound resounded in the air, like a morning bell or evening drum. At this moment, Ma Gubwa slowly opened his eyes. His gaze was originally filled with hatred towards Xiaoping, but now it had completely changed. It was filled with gratitude and sincerity. He said, "Thank you for your guidance, fellow Taoist Xia. Today, I have finally achieved enlightenment and understand the countless mistakes I have made in the past. Now, I am extremely regretful and hope to use my life to pay for my sins. Nothing is better than being able to correct one's mistakes. It's not too late for you to have an epiphany now and become a Buddha." Xiaoping nodded. F***CK, what's going on? When the many Yuanming sect disciples saw this, all of them were stunned. Where in the world did that hot-tempered, bloodthirsty, and evil Ma Gubwa go? Just like that, after being casually guided by this native, they felt as if they had already stepped into the Tao, entered the Buddhist path, comprehended everything, and everything became empty. They had never seen such a calm expression on Ma Gubwa's face before. It was as if Ma Gubwa, who used to commit murder and arson, had now become a sheep eating grass. At this moment, their hair stood on end. They finally knew why Ma Gubwa was so terrified and willing to surrender. It turned out that this was the power of purification, completely changing one's personality and entering the Buddhist path. He was a Dharma-characteristic, realm mighty figure with boundless dharmic powers. Now, he was actually subdued, thinking that he had an epiphany and was freed. He was completely loyal to the other party. This was worse than death. Many Yuanming sect disciples shuddered in fear, unable to say anything at all. "How did you guys come to this place?" Xiaoping immediately asked them how they arrived at planet Yanwang. "We accidentally discovered a mystic realm with a large number of space stones." Ma Gubwa spoke of his experience. "At that time, we were extremely excited and thought that we had struck it rich. Who would have thought that this mystic realm would have a large number of hollow beasts? There were countless monsters. In the end, we were chased by these monsters and had to flee. However, we accidentally encountered a space storm and entered this storm forbidden zone. However, we were lucky and paid a huge price to pass through the storm and enter this safe zone alive." Storm forbidden zone. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and asked about this in detail. Under Ma Gubwa's narration, he said that a galaxy near planet Yanwang was basically surrounded by a space storm. This was considered a forbidden zone in the northern universe. Even sages could not easily barge in. If they were not careful, they could fall into the endless dimensional storms and die. Needless to say, ordinary people would not dare to approach this place. This was considered a famous forbidden zone in the northern universe. It was a forbidden zone without life. The people of the northern universe could not imagine that there was actually a native planet in this storm forbidden zone that nurtured an ordinary human civilization. "I see." Xiaoping was enlightened. It was no wonder that planet Yinhuang had not been discovered by aliens for hundreds of thousands of years. This was because this galaxy was basically surrounded by space storms and no one could approach it. The area around planet Yinhuang was considered the only safe zone in this place. There were no space energy storms. According to Ma Gubwa, this area did not even seem to be connected to the universe virtual network. They could not contact people from the sect to come and rescue them. Of course, Xiaoping already knew about this. Master! At this moment, the Green Ox's voice was heard. It was very excited. You must ask where the mystic realm that produces space stones is. If we can get a large number of space stones, we can definitely speed up the restoration of the bead of mountains and rivers. At the very least, we can restore most of the core formation and let the bead of mountains and rivers regain its former glory. It said that space stones were extremely precious ores in the universe. They contained a huge amount of space energy. Many space rings were created with space stones as the blueprint. Some space treasures were forged with space stones. A few of them would be worth a lot. If there was a place that produced space stones, it would undoubtedly be a huge treasure trove. It was equivalent to a mortal discovering a huge gold mine. It would be very easy to become rich overnight. Where is the mystic realm that produces space stones? Xiaoping asked. It's somewhere not far from the storm forbidden zone. Ma Gubwa answered without hesitation. One day later, Ma Gubwa and the other Yuanming sect disciples had basically been expiated and turned into puppets. They were loyal and devoted. As for Xiaoping, he let this group of people enter the Gaia space as the human super thugs. They assisted in protecting the important officials of the Federation government to prevent them from being accidentally killed. They were also to protect his mother and father. Chapter 1787. Whoosh! Xiaoping drove the stars and flew all the way, soon reaching the edge of the Milky Way. Immediately, he saw that the Milky Way was surrounded by clusters of spatial storms, as if there were ancient fierce beasts exhaling in the depths of the void, blowing across the universe, making whistling sounds full of destructive aura. Moreover, these spatial storm areas were thousands of light years long. The storms were chaotic and contained terrifying destructive energy. Ordinary spaceships would be destroyed in an instant if they entered. No wonder this is the storm forbidden zone. No one has entered for countless years. Xiaoping was extremely amazed. This spatial storm area was too terrifying. Not only were there spatial storms blowing, but there were also many spatial faults. Among them, there were thunderbolts, torrents of molten lava, blowing ice and snow, spreading poisons, and so on. They seemed to be terrifying energy leaking from countless dimensional spaces, and their power was boundless. Once swept in, he was afraid that he would be lost in the dimensional space forever, unable to return to the original universe. He would become a lost person until he died of old age. Even the stars could not withstand the energy explosion deep in the core of this storm area. If swept in, he was afraid that he would never be able to come out of this place and die without a complete corpse. If Ma Gubwa and the others' luck wasn't heaven-defying and extremely rare, they probably wouldn't even have the chance to pass through this spatial storm layer. They would have died inside, and not even their dregs would be left behind. In fact, planet Yinhuang had never welcomed an alien visitor for so many years. If there were no accidents, planet Yinhuang would have developed steadily until it found the surrounding spatial storms. Of course, planet Yinhuang inadvertently connected to the sky realm and created a space tunnel, which was also a miracle and accident of the universe. Ma Gubwa, do you know how to leave this spatial storm layer? Xiaoping asked Ma Gubwa, who was staying in the space of the mountain river Pearl. I'm sorry, Daoxia. Ma Gubwa said helplessly. We only accidentally passed through the storm layer by luck. It's impossible to repeat it again. Even if you ask me, it's useless. He spread his hands, indicating that there was nothing he could do. Forget it. It seems that I can only use the wish compass. Xiaoping did not have much hope for Ma Gubwa. Fortunately, he still had a connate magic treasure, the wish compass. Boom! Thinking of this, he did not hesitate and immediately took action, instilling his divine sense into the wish compass. Immediately, the pointer of the wish compass rotated rapidly. This is the place. Xiaoping immediately followed the instructions of the compass of wishes and controlled the stars to move in a certain direction. Whoosh! All of a sudden, the stars entered the space storm layer, but the strange thing was that according to the compass needle, this path was extremely safe. It was as if countless storm energies were blowing around in a disorderly manner. As they intertwined with each other, they actually formed a stable and safe passage. This was a blind spot created by the intertwining of countless space storms. Ma Gubwa and the other Yuanming sect disciples must have entered this passageway unintentionally. That was why they were so lucky and managed to escape safely from this spatial storm layer. Without the guidance of the wish compass, a normal person probably wouldn't be able to find this passage even if they spent their entire lives. Another day passed. The stars passed through the spatial tunnel safely. Even though there were countless spatial storms blowing around, it was still extremely safe inside the tunnel. It was considered the only safe haven. Suddenly, the star region outside became calm and quiet. It was completely dark. This passageway is a bit troublesome. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Although it was a good thing that there was a passageway that led to the outside world, the problem was that it would be bad if this passageway was discovered. Even though this passageway was difficult to find, who could guarantee that there wouldn't be a second Ma Gubwa? When that happened, planet Yinwang might be in danger. He had to think of a way to hide this spatial passageway. It seems like the only thing I can do now is to set up an array here to hide this spatial passageway. Xiaoping thought about it and immediately came up with a solution. He would set up an array here. However, this wasn't the time to set up an array. He still had to search for a mystic realm that contained a large number of space stones. This was his top priority now. As for hiding this spatial passageway, it wouldn't be too late to do that after some time. Where is that mystic realm? Xiaoping asked Ma Gubwa. Dao is Xia. It's not far ahead, about 150 million kilometers away, Ma Gubwa said, pointing northeast. There were faint bursts of light in the distance. In the distance, faint bursts of light could be seen. It was a huge azure door of light. It seemed to be a spatial entrance, like the mouth of a giant beast, emitting a terrifying aura. Dao is Xia. This mystic realm seems to be mobile. The place it appears in every time is not fixed, and it will automatically move when the time is up. This time, this mystic realm will probably stay in this place for more than 10 days. If you miss this opportunity, you don't know how difficult it will be to find it again. Ma Gubwa reminded. Whoosh! Xiaoping immediately controlled the stars to move in the direction pointed by Ma Gubwa, quietly merging into the void. It didn't take long for them to pass through the cyan-like gate. Suddenly, there was a change in space, and he immediately appeared in another spatial world. Xiaoping immediately sensed that this mystic realm was very unusual. It was filled with rich space energy, almost condensed into a substance. The entire mystic realm was also extremely solid, as if it had crystallized. There were mountains around it, as if they were condensed from crystals. In such a world, no plants could survive, and it was bare everywhere. However, the area of this mystic realm was extremely vast and boundless. At least, within the range of Xiaoping's divine sense, he couldn't see the end of this world. Where are the space stones? Xiaoping asked Ma Gubwa. It's in this secret plains mineral vein. This place is rich in spatial stones, but basically all the spatial stone mineral veins are guarded by vacant beasts. They feed on spatial stones. If you want to mine spatial stones, you'll have to clash with vacant beasts. Previously, we clashed with vacant beasts. In the end, we were no match for them and were forced to flee. Ma Gubwa said in a deep voice. In other words, if we find that group of hollow beasts, we will be able to find the location of the space stones. Xiaoping touched his chin, and a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. Yes, you can say that. Ma Gubwa nodded. Wait, there's something wrong up ahead. Suddenly, Xiaoping's divine sense moved, and he immediately sensed a strong fluctuation thousands of miles away. Chapter 1788. These are the hollow, bright beasts. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Below him, numerous crystal-like monsters appeared. Their bodies were sparkling and translucent, exuding a strong spatial aura. They had sharp claws, fangs, horns, scales, and many other things. They looked like lions. Their bodies' defenses were extremely strong. It seemed like ordinary powers wouldn't be able to break through their scales. Every scale seemed to have profound spatial runes that were unfathomable. Ordinary cultivators probably wouldn't be able to harm a single hair on them even if they went all out. Often, after punching the hollow bright beasts, the ferocious beasts would attack with their claws and tear their bodies apart. Back then, Ma Gubwa and the others had been beaten into a sorry state like this. They weren't a match for them at all. However, even though these hollow bright beasts were very ferocious, the battleships weren't simple either. Beams of laser cannons blasted out with terrifying might. They easily penetrated the bodies of these hollow bright beasts, leaving behind a ground full of corpses. Moreover, these battleships gave off powerful auras. It seemed like there were many returning nature realm and transcendence realm cultivators in them. There were even auras of lightning tribulation realm powerhouses. After a short while, the tens of thousands of hollow bright beasts below the plains were all killed. "What's going on?" Xiaoping asked Ma Gubwa. "Dao is Xia. Maybe the Yuanming sect's elders are here. When we were being chased by the hollow bright beasts, I already spread the news that I found a large number of spatial stones. They probably received the news and rushed over quickly to seal off this area." Ma Gubwa voiced out his thoughts. This was because any sect that received this news would send people over in a frenzy, hoping to monopolize the treasures. No one would complain about having too many treasures on them. Moreover, spatial stones were extremely precious resources. Many treasures required spatial stones. In fact, cultivating some spatial divine arts also required the assistance of spatial stones. No, that's not right. From the symbols on these battleships, the Yuanming sect isn't the only faction. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Then, the news has been leaked. Other factions have also received this news and want to get share of the loot. To be honest, I'm not very optimistic about the Yuanming sect's secrecy system. They're like a sieve and can't keep anything secret. Ma Gubwa said with certainty. He was very familiar with the Yuanming sect situation. This sect was like a bandit's lair, with good and bad people mixed in. It was very free, but this also meant that the discipline was not very strict. Many factions would send their own people into the Yuanming sect to gather information. Wait, I seem to recognize these sect symbols. Xiaoping looked at the symbols of the battleships in the distance and recognized them at once. There were familiar ones like Xintian sect and Juntian sect, as well as unfamiliar ones like Yuanming sect, Guyue sect, and Tianjin sect. These were basically all saint-level sects of the northern cosmos. They cooperated with each other and were of the same branch. Interesting. Xiaoping touched his chin, and his eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He decided not to act rashly and alert the enemy for the time being. Instead, he would sneak into these forces to gather information before making any further plans. After all, according to Ma Gubwa, this pocket dimension was not as simple as it seemed. There were a large number of wild beasts living inside. If they wanted to obtain the space stone, they would have to deal with these wild beasts. Perhaps he still had a chance to borrow the strength of these forces to kill the group of beasts, allowing him to reap the benefits. Whoosh! Xiaoping put away the multitude star and left the flying ship. With a flash, he used a formless mask and turned into a wisp of green smoke, swiftly approaching the Yuanming sect and the other factions. At this moment, a large number of Yuanming sect elders were gathered on one of the Yuanming sect's battleships. They were all at least at the Transcendence realm. It could be said that apart from the elders who were guarding the sect, cultivating in seclusion, and traveling outside, basically all the elders who could be mobilized were present. The Yuanming sect could be said to have sent out all their elites. As expected, this pocket dimension is emitting dense spatial energy, and there are a large number of hollow beasts. There must be a large number of space stones inside. It seems like the information that Elder Ma Gubwa sent back is true. The one who spoke was Yuanming sect's Grand Elder Lu Wan, a mid-stage lightning tribulation almighty. He stroked his white beard and looked at the hollow beast corpse on the ground, feeling extremely satisfied. What a foolish hollow beast. They are indeed beasts. They can't tell who the real enemy is and actually dared to come forward to die. In the end, we easily slaughter them all. These hollow beasts feed on space stones and are space-type creatures themselves. Every part of their bodies is extremely precious and is very suitable to be used as materials to refine spatial treasures. Plunder. Plunder all these hollow beast corpse beasts. Don't leave anything behind. These are all treasures. Many Yuanming sect elders revealed greedy looks. All of them had the personality of bandits, the type that would plunder anything they could get their hands on. They wanted nothing more than to take these hollow beast corpse beasts for themselves and plunder all the treasures they could see. Haha, I'm really grateful for Elder Maguba's information. If not for him, how could we have found this pocket dimension and made such a fortune? It's a pity that he was chased by many hollow beasts and was unlucky enough to encounter a spatial storm. Now, there's nothing left of him. Otherwise, if he were still alive, I would definitely thank him properly. One of the Yuanming sect elders let out a long sigh. When many elders heard this, they scoffed. They could tell that these words were hypocritical. This was because this elder did not seem sad at all. Instead, he was gloating, and with one less elder sharing the treasures with them, they did not know how much more benefits they would gain. All right, they're all dead, so there's no need to say anything else. However, which bastard leaked the news of this pocket dimension? To think that the Ancient Moon sect, Heaven Reflection sect, Shintian sect, and Great Sky sect would also receive the news and send people over to share the loot with us. How preposterous! Who knows how many benefits we're missing out on? Grand Elder Lu clenched his teeth with an ugly expression. He looked at the many Yuanming sect elders with an unfriendly expression. He believed that the news must have been leaked by these elders. However, he could not find out what exactly it was. If no spy had leaked the news, their Yuanming sect would have been able to monopolize the loot. How could the other factions have a chance? Unfortunately, it was too late to say anything now. Grand Elder, there's no point in saying all this. We should hurry up and find a spatial stone vein and start excavating. An elder suggested, we don't know how long this pocket dimension's spatial passageway can last. If we wait until this spatial passageway collapses and we don't get out, we'll probably be trapped in this world forever. We should take this opportunity to dig as many spatial stones as we can. There's no point in grumbling. Let's not waste time. Chapter 1789. On the other hand, the elders of the Ancient Moon sect, Heavenly Reflection sect, Shintian sect, and Great Sky sect were also discussing among themselves. Those old farts from the Yuanming sect are probably furious. They were the ones who discovered this place. If they had kept it a secret, they would have been able to monopolize it. However, now that they're forced to share it with us, they'll probably be furious. Some elders were proud of themselves for taking advantage of the situation. The Yuanming sect wants to monopolize such a big piece of meat. Aren't they afraid of being stuffed to death? That's right. It's for their own good that we help share the burden. Otherwise, it'll probably be a disaster for the Yuanming sect if they suddenly obtain such a huge amount of wealth. That makes sense. In that case, we've saved the Yuanming sect. They should give us some compensation. Many elders were proud of themselves. It was a great fortuitous encounter to be able to find a secret plane that produced spatial stones. It required a lifetime's worth of luck. They believed that after this was over, they would obtain a large number of spatial stones and immediately become wealthy people in the universe. By then, they would be able to buy any Dharma treasures they wanted and eat any elixirs they wanted. They weren't afraid of the price. They were only afraid that they wouldn't be able to buy them even if they had the money. Although they hadn't ended this adventure yet, they felt that they had become super wealthy. Their future cultivation path would definitely be extremely smooth. Elders, to be honest, there are too many factions joining us this time. If there were fewer factions joining us, we might be able to obtain more spatial stones. By then, our earnings would increase by more than a few folds. If there's a chance, we might be able to take advantage of them and wipe out all the cultivators from the Yuanming sect. Someone's eyes were ferocious. This is a mysterious secret plane anyway. There are also many dangerous beasts living here. Anything can happen. Even if the people from the Yuanming sect all die, we can push their deaths onto the hollow bright beast and the others. We don't have to worry about being exposed. There's no proof. He wanted to kill all the cultivators from the Yuanming sect. No, no, no. We mustn't do that. However, an elder immediately shook his head and rejected the idea. The Yuanming sect isn't a faction to be trifled with. This time, they've also come out in full force. We have to think carefully if we want to deal with these old farts. If we're not careful, I'm afraid we'll be the ones to be wiped out. We must be careful. Even though that was what they said, there was a hint of ferocity in the eyes of these elders. If anything were to happen to the Yuanming sect or the other sects, causing their strength to suffer, they wouldn't mind sending this group of people to hell and taking the spatial stones for themselves. For a time, these sect elders each had their own ulterior motives, and undercurrents surged. Look, the Yuanming sect found a spatial stone mine, and they are currently fighting against a group of hollow bright beasts. We have to hurry over and snatch it. No, we have to reinforce them. One of the elders immediately shouted, "What? Is there such a thing? Let's kill our way over and kill those hollow beasts." The eyes of the various elders lit up. They could sense that there was indeed a small or a vein in the distance. There were a large number of spatial stones hidden underground. Otherwise, there would not be a small clarity beast nest here. At this moment, all of them put away their thoughts and charged forward to fight with the group of hollow beasts. At this time, Xiaoping was tailing the Yuanming sect and the other factions, looking for an opportunity. Because of the formless mask, he was able to conceal his aura completely. No matter how high the cultivation states of these elders were, they could not sense Xiaoping's existence at all. A good chance. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He could see that the Yuanming sect and the other factions were fighting it out with the 100,000 hollow bright beasts. They were in an intense battle, causing smoke to rise up and the world to crack as blood flowed like rivers. At this moment, the hollow bright beasts had come out of their nests in full force as well. They were infuriated and were trying to kill these invaders. Therefore, their nests were now empty without the protection of the hollow bright beasts. Golden slime. At this moment, Xiaoping waved out with his hand, causing the golden slime on his body to appear. Slime! The golden slime was extremely excited. It could sense that there were precious ores deep underground that could allow it to evolve. If it were to devour them, its cultivation state would definitely skyrocket. Head over and dig out all of these spatial stones. However, don't digest them immediately. Xiaoping said to the golden slime, hoping that it could head over stealthily and dig out all of the spatial stone mines deep underground, leaving nothing behind. Slime! The golden slime called out and nodded. Without saying another word, it immediately turned into a lump of golden liquid. With a swoosh, it corroded the ground and rapidly melted into the depths of the earth, silently approaching the spatial stone mines. It didn't take long before it finally arrived. These are spatial stones. Through the golden slime's perspective, Xiaoping finally saw what the spatial stones looked like. They were sparkling and translucent like crystals, emitting a rainbow glow. They were incomparably beautiful and emanated a dense spatial aura. It was as if there was an independent world hidden within. This was an extremely mystical aura. However, this spatial stone mine was a small one, roughly 5 to 6 kilometers in length. Moreover, some of it had been eaten by the hollow bright beasts, so only half of it was left. However, to the golden slime, this was considered an unparalleled nourishment. It couldn't handle it at all. Rumble! It immediately turned into a lump of golden liquid, covering the entire sky and covering the earth. In an instant, the spatial stone mine was covered. After this period of cultivation, the golden slime had eaten and drank well, devoured countless ores, and its cultivation state had skyrocketed. The speed at which it devoured the mine was many times faster than before. Dig everything out. Xiaoping clenched his fists. The spatial stones in the areas covered by the golden slime were disappearing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Right now, They were all temporarily stored in the unique stomach space of the golden slime. The speed at which it was digging and devouring was simply too fast. In just over 10 minutes, the spatial stone mine, which was 5 to 6 kilometers in length, was completely devoured by the golden slime. All the spatial stones had been dug out cleanly. If anyone were to witness this scene, they would definitely be extremely astonished. The reason for that was because the underground had long since been dug out, leaving behind only a huge hole. Because the golden slime had devoured too cleanly, not even a single fragment of the spatial stone could be found on the ground. What a bunch of good people. Xiaoping watched on in satisfaction as the Yuanming sect and the others fought against the hollow bright beasts. While they were fighting, he would make use of the opportunity to plunder the spatial stones and obtain the greatest benefits. Chapter 1790. An hour later, the battle ended. Naturally, it was the Yuanming sect and the other factions who emerged victorious. A pile of hollow clarity beast corpses was left on the ground. There were holes everywhere, and the ground was cracked. One could imagine how intense the battle had been. Even the warships had many cracks on them, with many damaged areas. Due to the hollow clarity beasts' dying counterattacks, some elders had fallen in battle, causing them to suffer heavy losses. However, even after such a tragic battle, they were still excited. They had finally gotten rid of these hollow clarity beasts, and they would be able to monopolize this spatial stone mine. Quick, go and search for the spatial stones immediately. Don't let other factions get ahead of us. First come, first served. This feels great. Well, basically picking up money. After working so hard for so long, we're finally reaping the rewards. The Yuanming sect and the other elders were extremely excited. They all left the warships and flew towards the mine. They entered the cave and rubbed their palms, trying to dig out the spatial stones and make a fortune. However, when they charged into the cave and tried to dig out the spatial stones, they were all dumbfounded. The entire mine was empty. There was nothing left. Where are the spatial stones? Where are the spatial stones? Isn't this a spatial stone mine? Why is there nothing here? Where the F***CK did they go? Did they get eaten by dogs? One of the Yuanming sect elders went crazy. He searched everywhere for traces of the spatial stones, but he couldn't find anything. All that was left was an empty underground tunnel. F***CK, there really isn't a single spatial stone. No, there isn't even a fragment of the spatial stone. All the elders were stunned. They had fought so hard against the hollow clarity beasts and paid a heavy price, but this was the result. They couldn't accept such a cruel reality. F***CK, where did the spatial stones go? Don't the hollow clarity beasts feed on spatial stones? Without the spatial stones, do they all eat the northwest wind? Some elders were indignant. They dug 3 feet into the ground, but no matter how much they dug, even to the point where the cave collapsed, they couldn't find any spatial stones. D***M. We fought so hard against the hollow clarity beasts, and some of our comrades died. You F***king tell me this place is an abandoned mine? This is a big joke. Some elders were so angry that their bodies were trembling. Could it be that the appetite of those vacant beasts was too big, and they ate all the spatial stones here? Someone guessed. Eat your ass. Even a pig would leave some scraps after eating. But now, there's not even any scraps left. It's even cleaner than its face. It's like a Taotai has come to wreak havoc. I've never seen such a situation. An elder cursed loudly. Even if it was a gold mine, after excavation, there would always be some gold dust or gold sand left behind. However, there was none in this place, not even a fart. It was frighteningly clean, as if someone had been cleaning this place. Someone must have gotten here before us. These spatial stones aren't naturally formed, and they're definitely not caused by the hollow bright beast. An elder of the Heaven Reflection sect said confidently. His eyes shone brightly. He had discovered some clues about this cave. It was definitely not created by the emptiness beast, nor was it naturally formed. It was a sign of someone destroying it. What? Someone beat us to it. Which bastard is so daring to snatch food from the tiger's mouth, right under our noses? Is he tired of living? Many elders were filled with killing intent. It seemed like as long as they found the person who took the large amount of spatial stones, they would immediately kill him mercilessly and teach him an unforgettable lesson. Wait, look, there are words on the wall. It's the universal language. An elder noticed that there were words on the wall. Everyone immediately looked over and saw a line of words written on it. The main meaning was to thank the elders of the Yuanming sect, the Ancient Moon sect, the Tianjin sect, the Xintian sect, and the Great Sky sect for helping him stall the empty bright beast, which gave him the opportunity to obtain the spatial stones here. They were really grateful, and if there was a chance, they could treat them to a meal to repay their kindness. The signature was Wu Wudi. As expected, a thief got here first. I told you that this situation isn't natural. The Great Sky sect elder hollered, "Damn, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to his 18 generations of ancestors. Hand over all the spatial stones. We risked our lives to deal with the empty bright beast, not to help you." The elder of the Ancient Moon sect was furious. Moreover, this little thief was incomparably arrogant and stingy. He had obviously stolen a large number of spatial stones, but he only treated them to a meal. He had never seen such a stingy person. They might as well not repay him at all. Find him. Even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground, you have to find him. He actually dared to take our spatial stones. Even dying 100 times wouldn't be enough. An elder of Heaven Reflection sect roared in rage. It was obviously a fat piece of meat that was already in their mouths, but it was snatched away in an instant. It was obviously a lovely wife on their wedding night, but she was captured by a thief and had to drink the soup. How could this be? Even Buddha was angry. Who could stand it? Wu Wudi? Could it be that universe devil? A super wanted criminal? Why would this brat come to this place? The Mystic Heaven sect elder's expression was very ugly. He remembered that his sect had a feud with Wu Wudi. Once in the Fogstar field, it was this brat who had ruined the Mystic Heaven sect's 1,000-year plan. This feud was irreconcilable. He came here to cause trouble and ruin our plan. Now, he wants to jump out again. What a troublemaker. We must find him and tear him to pieces. The group of elders of the Mysterious Heaven sect gritted their teeth. They wanted to catch Wu Wudi and tear him to pieces. But no matter how they searched, they couldn't find even the slightest trace, nor could they sense any foreign, unfamiliar auras appearing here. It was as if they were venting their anger on the air. They felt as if they had nowhere to use their strength. Forget it. Let's not waste time here. We should find the next vein as soon as possible. This world is very big, and there are spatial stone veins everywhere. I don't believe that the next vein will be like this. That's right. That brat always causes trouble. He'll appear sooner or later. Don't ever show up again. Otherwise, he'll definitely suffer. I heard that this brat is a wanted criminal in the universe and is being hunted by countless forces. If we can kill him, we'll immediately receive a large reward. Then, we'll be able to make up for all our losses. A hint of greed appeared in the eyes of the elders, and they were filled with killing intent. However, some of the elders decided to give up on the investigation. They felt that they couldn't continue wasting time here. If they waited until the spatial channel to this secret realm disappeared, they would be completely finished. They would be trapped in this damned place forever. Chapter 1791. But a day later, Yuanming sect, Ancient Moon sect, and the others went crazy. "Come out, Wu Wudi, come out now." The Yuanming sect's elder bellowed. "You're just a F** king tagging along. You follow us wherever we go. Do you think we're your guiding light? Your shield? Do you have any shame? You stare at the mines we found. I have never seen someone as shameless as you. You are the shame of the universe." They were furious. Originally, they didn't want to bother with Wu Wudi and continued to search for mines. They wanted to get rich silently. After all, this place was filled with space stones and they could dig everywhere. But who would have thought that this shameless Wu Wudi would be so shameless and follow them around? They had just killed a bunch of empty bright beasts, and he had already dug up all the spatial stones. He didn't even leave a single strand of hair behind. It was as if they were working for Wu Wudi, helping him kill the empty light beasts. That shameless bastard took the chance to sneak underground, dig up mines, and steal treasures. If it happened once or twice, they would just treat it as a coincidence. But that bastard didn't do that. He did it every single time. He treated them like super fighters and used them to help him kill the empty light beasts. Such things happen one after another. Even a clay figurine would get angry. That bastard even left a message on the mine, saying that he was grateful for their help and that it was a happy collaboration. Cooperation? His face was filled with disbelief. Damn it, was there such a cooperation? They didn't get any benefits from this collaboration. Instead, they had to work hard. They had never seen such a con man. They wanted to capture Wu Woody and tear him to pieces. King Wu Woody, if you are a hero, come out now and fight with us. You are a rat, a cowardly rat. Do you know that? The ancient moon sect elder hollered and tried to provoke him. Right, come out. If you have the balls, fight to the death with us. Hiding in the dark like a rat. What kind of man are you? Many of the elders gritted their teeth. But no matter how they shouted, the surroundings were silent. No sound could be heard. It was as if he couldn't be bothered to reply to them. He continued to follow them and get rich silently. This made them even angrier and filled their stomachs with anger. This won't do. We can go on like this. Otherwise, all the benefits that we've done will be taken by Wu Woody. We won't even get a single strand of hair. We'll all be working for someone else. The elder of Juntian Hierarch said, "What else can we do? Do you think that we don't want to kill him?" But his concealment ability is too strong. He simply appears and disappears like a ghost. We can't find his whereabouts at all. If it weren't for the words left on the mountain wall, we wouldn't even know if this person exists. The Mystic Heaven sect elder felt very helpless. It wasn't that they didn't want to kill Wu Woody, but he was just too cunning. So what if he appears and disappears unpredictably? The monk can run, but the temple can't. The Heaven Reflection sect elder's eyes flashed with a cold light. As long as we set up a restrictive array around one of the mineral veins and set up an inescapable trap, once that kid steps into the trap, we will immediately capture the hollow bright beasts and Wu Woody. Then, even if that kid has wings, he won't be able to fly out. That's good. That's a good idea. When the Yuanming sect elder heard this, his eyes lit up. We won't be able to find his whereabouts, but we can set up a trap. When that kid walks into the trap, we'll capture him alive. Our sect happens to have a Heaven Reflection void formation. Once it's set up successfully, it will seal the heavens and lock the earth. It will penetrate the void and be all-pervasive. No matter how capable that kid is, he definitely won't be able to escape. The Heaven Reflection sect elder laughed coldly. Anyway, that guy has his eyes on us. We can beat him at his own game. We'll head to one of the mineral veins and set up a formation, waiting for that kid to fall for it. All right, I've had enough of that kid. We have to kill that Beastra's starred. The various elders looked at each other and clenched their fists. They were united as a fortress. They immediately split up. Some searched for the mineral veins and confirmed the location of the trap. Some prepared the materials for the formation, and some guarded the surroundings so that their plan wouldn't be leaked. Some elders were unwilling to give up and searched everywhere, hoping to find some clues. At this time, Xiaoping didn't care about the Yuanming sect elder's plan. He had already headed to another place. The golden slime had sensed a large spatial stone mineral vein. This mineral vein seemed to be 10 to 100 times larger than the previous ones combined. It was a true super spatial stone mineral vein. It contained a large amount of spatial stones, exceeding everyone's imagination. It really is a super spatial stone mineral vein. Xiaoping followed the golden slime and arrived at a mountain range. The mountain range was extremely huge, spanning over 300,000 kilometers. It stretched as far as the eye could see, and there were many towering mountains. It was like a primordial heavenly dragon lying on the ground. It was majestic, tall, and majestic, shocking everyone. At the same time, he could also sense a violent aura coming from the depths of the mountain range. There were countless spatial beasts living here. Many of them were vacant beast kings, and their strength had reached the peak of Thunder Tribulation Realm. It could be said that there were many vacant beasts living here. There were more than 300 million of them. Once these ferocious beasts were released, it would be a beast tide that would sweep through everything. Rumble, at this moment, the golden slime instantly drilled into the ground. Like a super drilling machine, it easily dug a huge hole several 100 kilometers deep into the ground. Following that, it dug a shocking tunnel deep underground, reaching the depths of the mountain range. It was completely silent, and none of the vacant beasts noticed the tremors. As the power of the golden slime digging the tunnel was too great, it directly devoured a large amount of rocks, soil, and other materials and digested them in its stomach. Thus, there was no sound at all, and it silently devoured everything. Amazing. Xiaoping's eyes lit up because this vein was just too huge. It stretched for tens of thousands of kilometers and contained an unimaginable amount of spatial stones. The dozen or so small veins from before couldn't even be considered as a strand of hair in comparison. It could be said that this should be one of the main mineral veins of this secret plane, a true treasure trove. Hold on, what is this? All of a sudden, Xiaoping's divine sense spread out. It went deep into the earth vein, reaching the deepest part. In the depths of the underground cave, the space suddenly opened up, and a huge space appeared. It was as if the underground had been dug out, and this place could accommodate millions of people. At the center of this underground space, a crystal the size of a fist suddenly appeared. It emitted 7 different colors, and it kept changing, illuminating the entire space. Numerous vacant beast kings seemed to be crawling under this crystal, guarding this strange stone. It was as if the light coming from it was extremely beneficial to them. No way, this is a rainbow divine stone. Master, you must get this stone.